It almost feels like
a party. We're hosting a party at our house.
Yep. And we have party cleanup to do afterwards too. And
I know, we gotta do all those dishes.
Yeah. That our kids trash.
Yeah, that our kids make. Well, while we talk to all you guys. Today.
Surprise, surprise.
What are we talking about?
Serena is opening up.
We're talking about seeds. We're talking about seeds. Who's still waiting for their William Dam seeds? No. We are. This is the flower farm. So I buy almost all of my seeds from William Dam, which is a Canadian company. So sorry, all of my international friends. Canada only.
Yeah,
for them.
They don't ship outside Canada as far as we know.
Yeah. No, they don't. They have like the best prices and the best selection for us.
Yeah.
Though, so we
because customs can add a lot of money.
Yeah.
Onto the cost of things.
And
shipping.
When we convert from American currency to Canadian currency, it affects prices.
It does not work well for us.
Yeah. We add an infinite amount of money. So whenever we can, we buy from William Dam. And so back in December, I put together all of the flower farm stuff. I went and I bought everything I needed for the flower farm from William Dam. And then after I was done that, I went to Johnny's and I ordered everything that William Dam didn't have. But we've already unboxed that. I think we did that last week.
I think
right?
So.
Yeah.
Last week was like tomatoes and eggplants.
Oh, okay. Then you know what? We probably did that Johnny's one like quite a while ago because I had 2 orders from Johnny's because I this was
people are complaining about the reflection, but we got these windows.
Oh yeah, we got new windows and now they're super shiny.
But we haven't put the curtains up either.
Yeah.
We haven't put the curtains back up.
And by curtain, we mean random
stuff that the house
came fabric.
Oh.
For a while, Ian had a towel hanging up as a curtain.
It was a big beach towel.
It was thick.
Ain't nobody got time for that, right?
Ain't nobody got time for curtains.
Oh, and one of them was a bathrobe.
I'm pretty sure you also said that we're not allowed to put anything up in this window because Ian wants to be able to lay in bed and look out the window.
This is our nice view window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this about us, but we're not super into privacy. We like go on YouTube and we talk about our life. We walk around our house with no curtains up. At least we're consistent.
Yeah.
I'll say that for us. At least we're consistent.
I will admittedly say though that this definitely is a bit trippy, like the reflection and then yeah. I'm digging it. And then you can see the Lightstar Outbuilding out there. Right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see this? This is seeds. This is Lysianthus growing.
Yep.
Okay. Like I was doing good, Ian. We were like getting to the point,
Yeah,
okay.
You never get.
I know I never get to the point. Okay, so I ordered this back in December. This is the flower farm. I'm still waiting for my main farm order, all the veggies. I still haven't gotten a shipping notice on that, so fingers crossed that comes soon.
But that's the last.
Yeah, I sent them an email like a long time ago when they were like, if you're a farm, let us know. And I was like, yeah, I was kind of hoping they'd be shipped out mid-February, and they're like, no problem, guaranteed.
February. What is it?
Like 20th or 21st. Yeah, so we're to the point. But this order, okay, let's start into it. This order has something that I absolutely need to have in March. This is something that I need in March. There's 2 things that I need in March, or 3 things. And so far I have 1 of the 3. And it's these Mokum carrots. We grow 2 varieties of carrots. We grow Mokum, which is like amazing. The
Mokum is like a perfect.
They're a perfect
looking carrot.
They grow fast. They grow perfect.
Long and skinny.
They like something about the Mokum that is like a weird thing is they wash really easily.
Well, it's because they're smooth.
Yeah, but just everything. Yeah, carrots are direct sowed. But I need it. Okay, don't knock on the door. Just come in. Our kids. I am gonna direct sow these in March. Maybe not March 1st. There's still snow on the ground outside there. But basically, as soon as the soil is workable here on the farm, putting seeds into the ground. The last year, I think I started sowing carrots April 1st, and they did like super good. And they were no, they're not white. They're an orange carrot, classic orange. They're a Nance style, which means they're kind of like rounded on the bottom. And all the carrots that we grow as like a smaller, not a baby carrot, but not like a full size carrot. We grow them as like a snacking size carrot. So I've been planting these in April 1st. And they've done so well, and they like germinated really nicely, that every year I'm pushing it further and further back. So the absolute earliest I could possibly plant is once the snow is melted and the ground is defrosted enough that it has drainage again. So right now, if you watch our videos, we are very, very, very dry here. Once we accidentally left our hose on overnight, and I was like, oh my God, I remembered in the morning. I rushed outside. Where the hose was running, there was no puddle. The hose had been like running for 15 hours straight. We're basically a sand pit. The drainage is so good on our property that, with a hose left running, no puddle, right? Yeah. So drainage isn't an issue. Right now, we are muddy at our house. Like there's water pooling on the surface, and I'm pretty sure it's because, with the freeze thaw going on, there's a layer probably of freeze in the ground that's making it so the stuff defrosted on the top isn't able to penetrate down. So we just need it warmed up a little bit more. We need the I don't know. I don't. I was going somewhere, and then it completely disappeared. This is a problem with the comments.
Yeah, the comments can clear your brain.
Yeah,
you go to
there will be like a word, and it catches my eyes, and then I'm like, what am I doing? And then I forget what I'm talking about. Okay.
Are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about these carrots. Okay, so I need the snow to be melted, and I need the ground to be drained. So it's not puddles. It can't be muddy and mucky and wet for me to put my seeds into the ground. But the second that muck drains away is go time. That's the earliest possible moment I can put seeds into the ground. And for us here at this point, what we're experimenting with is how early, right? Like how much can we push that, right? So as I was saying before the tangent about how dry we are, April 1st last year, carrots in the ground, no problem. They did super good. So this year we need to push it back. The second I can put seeds into the ground, we're putting these seeds into the ground.
Because we're going to markets earlier.
Right, because the sooner I get them into the ground, the sooner I get them out of the ground, which is the sooner I have them to sell. And if I have them before everyone else, then I win. I win the game of carrots. And the thing that kind of caught my eye was someone being like, "What? $170?" For context, so this is like a farm size pack. This is like a retail pack. There's 100,000 carrots in here, and these are a very expensive variety. But when we plant our beds, it takes about 10,000 seeds. So in this packet is enough to plant 10 beds. And I have no idea.
That's
they're obviously the 10,000 seeds don't. It's not like I have 10,000 carrots in the bed. There is.
But 10 beds.
Yeah, but every bed has.
Last year.
Oh yeah, I overbought. I don't need this much. I needed I think the issue was the next size. There wasn't like a 50,000 pack. I think the next size down was like a 10,000 pack or like a. Basically, I was like,
Yeah.
you
For
know.
any of you who've ever seen Mad Max Fury Road, Serena is the old lady with seeds.
Yeah, I gave it like I'll have them
that's
for next year.
what Serena will be in the apocalypse.
I try.
She'll be the lady with the box of seeds.
Yes. Though, so I've been like worried about getting all my seeds on time, and I went because the main thing that I'm worried about is I need peppers and tomatoes. And I always like I have like so many seeds, but I was like, you know what? I probably don't even need them. I'm like, if they don't show up, I'm probably 100% fine. And I went and I checked, and I'm not fine because as I was saying, there's 3 things I need: Mokum, carrots. The other one is Juliet tomatoes and Sakura, which is my cherry tomato that I grow. Those I need like as early as possible for my farm plan, and I don't have any of those. I used all those up, so
yeah,
I need them. I'll be sending an email tomorrow, being like, I'm a farm. I was also worried because like we got our shipping thing. And we almost always use our farm name for ordering, just because it makes it easier for like keeping track of stuff for taxes and stuff. And I don't have a farm name in on these, and I was like, what? I thought like we're set up as a farm name. So I'm like, maybe they're like pushing us back because stagger plant. Oh, yeah. Okay, so when I say that I'm putting my carrots in the ground as soon as I can work the ground, I'm not planting. I'm not planting 10 beds. I'm not like putting 10 beds of carrots in. I will plant 1 bed of mokum, and then I have another variety. I plant 1 bed of scarlet nance, and the scarlet nance, we really like them. Like the flavor.
Yeah, the flavor is good.
I'd say for me personally, the flavor is better on scarlet nance.
Oh yeah.
But the aesthetics on the mokum
are
like way better.
The mokum are just so easy to sell. They look really, really good. Understand. So like I loved selling them because they look perfect.
Yeah. The scarlet
and the scarlet nance took a long time to clean too.
Yeah.
Which is like a big thing because carrot cleaning.
Look at my new emojis.
Oh.
And it's all black. I tried to make everything look so good on the white and
There's
black.
the seed pack.
The last one was kind of. I think that's the backstory.
Serena made one that just says backstory.
Yeah, and it's for the purpose of the backstory emoji is for when I start going off on a tangent and you're like,
you can call her up.
You're like, get back to your unboxing. Speaking of backstory.
Well, let's do a little roll call. I'm hoping that Team Flower can make a strong showing tonight since we are unboxing.
Okay, I have to agree. I feel okay. So we're gonna do Team Flowers versus Team Veggies. I am anticipating that Team Flowers should probably be winning this one, considering we are specifically doing
or at least
like a flower farm unboxing.
Even as a
there you go, Ian. You got you got a Team Flower.
We're winning already. Oh, flowers.
Oh, no, we got a team. Oh, Team Fatty. We got Team Fatty.
Team Flowers off to a very good lead.
Oh, look. All my people are here.
It's a flower unboxing. Yeah. Sunflowers. So good. Did anybody go out and order a bunch
of biannuals?
Did anybody go out and order a bunch of sunflowers after watching our video the other day?
I know we got a lot of messages from you guys being like, "Oh, Serena, I'm trying to order, but the website's down."
They were fun to shop for. That site is very hard to like keep it under control. I can't wait.
I will say this because the website is. I kept like joking to Ian. I was like, I don't know, Ian. I feel like there should be like a dancing baby on the header of this website, which you may not get if you're not an old person like us, because that is like
the dancing baby.
That is like going way back into the like maybe the original meme, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was before memes existed. People
are saying that they bought a lot.
Yeah. everyone kept being like, I got a second order, and I was like, I want a second. You guys started to influence me, and I was like, well, Serena, you don't need a second order because if you remembered, you have like 10 or 20,000 seeds there, which is way more. Yeah, someone knows the dancing baby.
I went to pick up the order at the post office.
Yeah, because I think did we have customs on that one?
I don't remember.
I think we did.
And it was like a box. Oh, thanks.
Oh, thanks. A soulmate.
Whoa.
You know, I was when we set up the membership because you guys are either our best friends or our soulmates. And we were joking. We're like, oh, you know, like we'll be. I don't know if I believe in soulmates. We don't know if I don't know that we'll get a soulmate. But I think now that's like 4 soulmates. And how lucky are we?
I know.
So many soulmates.
So I went to the post office and I like being chatty. I just, you know.
Yeah, you may not know this about us, but we're kind of chatty people.
And so I'm talking, and I was like, oh, it'd be funny. I'd be like, oh, these are my sunflower seeds. And that woman is like, what? Why did you buy it?
Because it's like a big.
A massive box.
It was like as big as these sides up. It's like a really big box.
Yeah, and it was heavy, like full. She's like, yeah, flower farm. I mean, I always try to slip in because I want. It's like.
Ian wants more people on his Team Flowers.
Well, they're like locals. They can stop by and buy stuff.
I guess.
You know
you know, the other day I had someone ask me for a business card. They're like, "Oh, I'll have to come to your farm. Do you have a business card?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah, I got that the other day when I was doing that dried flower video stuff, and I was taking down the stuff. Somebody asked me for my card.
A business card,
and I was like, "Nope."
I was like, "Who even uses business cards?" I'm like, "This is my Instagram handle." But I guess maybe we should start carrying business cards. I tell people, I'm like, we're at Red Roof Family Farm. We're on Google Maps.
There's actually lots of things we should do.
Yeah. Like get a website. That's pretty high on the list.
Yeah.
Or talk about all the flowers that are in this box.
Okay, break some out.
Okay. So I was laughing because I'm like opening this. I was sitting here, 20 minutes ago, right before we pressed the button to go live. I was like, oh, you know what? I totally forgot to buy some seeds. I was like, we're missing seeds. I don't have any status.
Yeah.
Because we were gonna do a bunch of status this year.
We haven't grown it before.
I've never grown it before.
Do you have to grow it starts or you seed it?
Kind of, which is the reason why I think I've never grown it before. And apparently it's hard to find this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. It's not something I can go and find in town. And there's no world in which I'm trying to order from William Dam Seeds right now. Other than maybe if I was like going to try to get something for the summer. Should I sow Snapdragons now? I should. I've been putting it off because Ian's been doing a big job in the outbuilding. But I have Chantilly Snapdragons, which yet again, I feel like that should be in here.
Serena.
I must have it.
You must have it.
I must have it, right? Because it must be that if I didn't order it, it's because I didn't need to order it. I didn't need to order this. I don't know why this is in here. I have like 4 packs of Campus Plume because I keep accidentally.
Celosia.
Okay. Ian's heckling. He's telling me to get on. Okay, so we have some celosia. And we grew a few things last year. Okay, get your head out of the way. Okay, we got to cover our faces. Okay, here's some pictures, guys. So these are celosias.
I think these are hard to look at pictures just in person.
They're kind of blurry. Okay, like give me a minute here, Mr.
You've had 19 of them.
Yes. Oh, like you haven't been talking. Okay, so celosia. We are doing celosia. It's a hot weather one. It needs like the heat. So this I probably will start in our greenhouse in April. But I feel like celosia I could maybe direct seed too. But yeah, so last year we had a few things. I did flamingo feathers, and I was kind of like, meh about it. I think like, okay, so I'm really bad at, I mean, in general, I'm really bad at growing flowers. I grow very sad, stunted, and healthy flower plants. But it's fine. I can make it work for the bouquets. But for the celosia, I haven't been able to get any of the fan style ones, which is like this. This is like a fan, or like I think they call them like coxcombs. But they look so cool, and when I see other people who grow them properly, like my neighbors, I'm like, oh, I should be able to do it. And every time I have them and I put them in a bouquet, people are always, sucks people in. People want to buy them, so I'm giving another go. This is a tall cristata mix, which I think is the one that I keep doing. Yeah, so I don't know. Give it another try. But the one that I really like is the pampas plume, right? Like it's this one, and it looks really similar to the, it's kind of like the wavy flower type thing. Similar kind of to the shape of the amaranths. But I find like for me, when maybe it's because I'm growing it badly, but the plumes are pretty small. But the colors, I love the colors. Like it gets this like neon pink and this bright yellow and like an orange. It's just the mix is just the craziest colors. And they don't look real. You think they're like something that was white and I've dyed them. Is what they look like. So I really like them, and I find they're super versatile, and they dry. They dry really well. So if I plant too much and then I don't want to use it all, if I have like too much of it, I can cut it and dry it, get it out of the way and move on. But yeah, so I have a bunch, and I think I'm going to try to succession it a little bit. And I'm going to give it a little bit more space, and a little bit more attention, and hopefully I can grow that a little bit better. Okay, what else do we got here? Okay, so I bought some poppies, and like, look at these. Look how amazing these are. I mean, aren't those... This is basically like, I couldn't resist. This one is called Amazing Gray, and then this one is a mix. It's like double Shirley mix. So the problem with poppies is they have like a really short, like they don't last very long in the vase, but they look so good. They look so cool. And they should be, I can't remember if these are perennial or not. Saying annual. I also bought some Icelandic poppies, which should be perennial for us.
Yeah, those are like what, zone 1 or something?
Yeah. Well, no, maybe 3 or something. But they should come back year after year. So I started some and stuck them. I have to stick them outside to kind of do the cold thing. And these I need to start right away. But yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, I'm already doing some other poppies. Get some other ones.
I'm excited. This is the first year that you've grown poppies.
This is basically like, so Ian's a bad influence.
Well, I've always liked poppies.
Ian legitimately likes
poppies.
Poppies.
There was a poppy that lived in our alley at our old place. And
they were an Icelandic poppy, and they weren't watered ever. So they were like very sad.
I think I gave them like some bucket water now and then.
Yeah.
But not like,
we never planted them. They
like blew in.
Yeah.
The neighbor, one of our neighbors, it was actually fairly far away.
They had poppies?
Yeah, that corner lot that had all the landscaping, like the xeriscaping.
I don't think they would have come that far.
It was pretty far. But they had the same variety.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. They're really pretty. The problem with poppies is, so we go from like cool to hot. We don't like gradually move from spring to summer. And the poppies don't always like that, but a lot of them are drought tolerant too. So, okay, so basically this year for the flower farm, Ian is a horrible influence, and he was like, buy everything, do everything, like, and so we're gonna be putting a lot more stuff into the ground. We're gonna grow like way more. And I'm gonna be experimenting with some new, slightly more complicated stuff that I've been like really resistant to doing in the past.
This is still in my mind our experimentation years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so
Like-
there's no like it's like, oh, should I try this? It's like, sure, if you want to try it, like go for it, because if it's something that works, then that could be a part of our business for years to come. But you wouldn't know it unless you tried it. And then the opposite can be true too. Whereas like if something doesn't work out, or like people just aren't interested in. Sometimes you grow something and you're like, this looks great. And then people are like, I don't. It doesn't even like
the mustard.
They just
like
walk
I still
right
like
by
I still don't, or like the red Russian kale.
They
It's
just
like-
they don't even see it.
Yeah.
So it's good to know what people see and what people don't. So like I'm like just try it. Who cares, right? Like
Well, I care because I'm the one who has to do the work. Ian can do the influencing, but I'm the one who has to grow it. And but it's also, we're gonna be doing these like we're gonna be doing these $20 bouquets. We can maybe have some more expensive stuff in them because there's space for some more expensive stuff. I don't know. I'm pretty committed to like simple, easy flowers.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
that.
that's
That
where
really seems like that's
where the money is.
That is where the money is, and that's also like the customer that we're targeting. But
It's also, here's something else. Like we're gonna have an employee this year, so we'll have more labor power, but we still have very limited labor power. So we have to decide where we direct our energy, because having like the kids are somebody almost has to watch the kids, not all the time, but they can really tie up one person. So basically we have one person who can work all the time, one person who can maybe accomplish a little bit, but a lot of it has to be household stuff. And then we're gonna have an employee. So there's
basically like my production is gonna double.
this is more like the time of year right now where I'm doing, like, Serena's watching the kids more so, and I'm doing stuff like I'm working on that outbuilding to make it look nice, and then I've got some like
jobs.
Infrastructure projects to switch over. Like the walk-in cooler is kind of like next, getting lined up, but then once that stuff starts to transition out, then it's Serena's like turn to take over. And the point is, we just don't have, there's not a lot of hours to get all this stuff done. So whereas a large business can be like, we make, we don't make a lot of money on this, but we make enough that we can hire an employee, and they just hire another employee. And then now they've got, 11 people working for them instead of 10, and they can take on more stuff, and
I mean, but
we just don't have the ability.
no, but
to do
if
that.
we made money on this, then we'd do that.
Yeah,
but the reality
but we're
is
not there yet.
we're not making any money.
We have to
on
figure
this.
out.
I was like talking to my dad today, and I was saying like, oh, we're going for $60,000. Doing the YouTube takes a lot of pressure off me for what the farm does, because we're making some money on the YouTube, so I don't have to be as nervous about hitting our sales numbers. There's a cat crying at the door. But so I was saying, ooh, we need to do $60,000 this year. That's kind of like our projection. So it's it's going to be another COVID year. It's going to be hard to hit those numbers. And he was like, oh yeah, like 60,000, like, so like, yeah, well, if you don't make 60,000, like if you make 30,000, I'm like, no, we have to sell 60,000. We're going to make we're going to make zero. We're not going to make any money this year. I was like telling him, I was like, we've probably already spent the 60,000.
We spent $16,000.
I thought it was 19.
No, 16.
Including
16,000.
the shipping?
Yeah.
Oh,
on
that's better than I thought it
on
was.
greenhouses because we bought like this big. The green,
I just got $3,000 more to spend.
the greenhouse is basically going to be the same footprint size as our outbuilding. It's really big, and that is how we're going to do the nursery sale.
Yeah, like seedlings in the future.
Because you know we were trying to decide, is the nursery sale something that we want to do? And I think that the potential for it is really big, but the way that we're doing it is so labor intensive that it's just impossible.
Yeah, so I don't want to invest any more into lights.
This year we're gonna struggle again. It'll be a little easier because we'll have.
It'll be fine because our seedlings are going to be more money, and so less people will want to buy them.
They will, yeah. But like next year, we'll be able to be more efficient with our seedlings, with that big space. That's
Yeah, it all builds like it's 5 years of making no money, so that we can do what works for the next 35 years.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, we have to keep changing what we do every year because that's how you stay in business. So obviously, we can't do the exact same thing.
But you get the formula.
But yeah, it gets easier, right? Like once we build our our nursery greenhouse, then all we need to do is maintain it, and every 5 years flip the plastic off. And that just becomes maintaining. I keep telling Ian, I'm like, it's like being a teacher, right? Like your first few years, you struggle building like a class plan, and then after that, you just do the same thing every year, and then it's like so it was more work in the beginning, but it'll be easier in the end. But yeah, so the reason why we're talking about all that though is we are doing a lot of experimenting this year, and like there is stuff in this box, and there's tons of stuff that we've already talked about with you guys, like the Lysianthus, which I've seen some people asking about, which I'm pretty sure is going to be like, we're never doing it again.
Well, yeah, we are. You know what we're gonna do?
We're gonna buy seedlings.
Yeah, we're gonna buy.
We're never gonna start Lysianthus.
We're gonna buy trays
ever again. We're gonna buy someone else's. Went through the hassle,
which is the way that a lot of
which is how like a lot of farms do it, right? They don't bother.
There's actual services that'll start your seeds for you, and then you get them as seedlings.
Yeah, plugs is the term for
in trays.
Yeah. And because I saw people asking, so they have started to pop, but they are like, I can't even say, oh, they're as small as a grain of sand, because I feel like they're smaller.
Yeah.
Like I have to take my glasses off to see them because my glasses like have a smudge mark. $82 worth. Yeah, well, I can tell you, I spent like $150 on the seed for the Lysianthus, and like I'm not even convinced I'm gonna get a single blossom out of it. So yeah, I'm not opposed to plugs. Okay, and then the one other thing I saw you guys asking, which I'll just quickly answer, is so the tulips. After asking you guys what to do, and it was in no way helpful because you were all like, don't do it, or do it, or like do somewhere in the middle. So the plan is we're gonna order it tomorrow. I went through and I've made some decisions. And Ian yet again was a bad influence, and he's like, just buy 2 of everything. Well, and I was like, well, how much money?
I wasn't like that, but okay. I did say
he was like, just buy 2 of the good stuff.
like these ones look nice. Yeah. You should buy some of those.
Okay, so basically, we're gonna plant.
Did you buy those orange ones with like?
Well, I haven't bought anything. We're gonna buy it tomorrow, but I'm gonna buy the orange ones, but for us only, because they're early.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm gonna buy some stuff for all of us. Stuff that just gets planted in the gardens. Because one thing that we're like thinking is maybe we could. Because the long-term plan is that we're gonna have some like actual gardens, not like spots where we grow things to sell, but just spots that are pretty. So there will be spots to put things in. But yeah, so the plan is, because Ian in no way limited me, And I was like, okay, well, I'll just start going through the catalog and thinking about like what would work, what wouldn't work, what I really want to try, because it's all about experimenting too, right? We're gonna have some bulbs coming up, in the next couple months. And that's going to be like basically, hey, we sell tulip bouquets. But 2022 is going to be the first year of really kind of experimenting with what we can do with tulip bouquets. So we'll just do it. We'll just like take the risk, and we will, we'll do what we need to do. Oh, so someone's asking about email address there. All of our contact information, because there's no comments on YouTube, all of our contact information's in the descriptions of all of our videos.
Somebody wants, I think I've seen this question a few times, talking about zinnias. We started our zinnias inside.
So we start our zinnias April 1st to get planted out May 1st. And we do that in the greenhouse. But, they direct from seed. They grow really, really good direct from seed. So if I was too busy,
then you just
I would be like whatever, because I'd only be losing like a couple weeks. Yeah. And quite often, like I'll plant in my seedlings, and if there's holes, then I just direct seed to fill the space that's left. And then we would and they maybe they're a week quicker for the ones that were direct seeded. But yeah, they're a week slower, the ones direct seeded. You can see Leah.
Yeah, Leah's
in the reflection. That's funny. You're silly. Okay, wait, so let me finish about the tulips. Okay, so what we're gonna do for the tulips, we're gonna plant them the way that like flower farmers plant them, which is you plant them so that you dig them out, bulb and all, and you can stick them into your cooler with the bulb on and keep them for a few weeks. So we're gonna do it that way. It would take about 5,000 bulbs to fill a single bed, planting them in this super intensive way. So I was like, okay, we can't have more than 5,000 because we don't want to do more than one bed. But for the amount of work that it would be to do like a quarter of a bed versus a full bed, it's just it makes sense to at least do a couple thousand. So I went through, and it looks. You guys can jump, but you guys can jump, but you got to be quiet, okay? And it looks like if we buy all the things that we want to buy to experiment with, it's about 4,000 bulbs, which would be, about $2,000. And then, kind of the pricing for when we go to do the bouquets together is that, 10 bulbs or 10 flowers would be a bouquet. That's like a $20 bouquet. So, it would be a lot of bouquets, right? It would they're a little bit staggered. The issue with the tulips. You guys, okay, you just quiet. The issue with the tulips is that we aren't necessarily having food ready to sell, right? And the flowers very much function as a partner to the food. Right? Like the food is the draw. The flowers are the add-on.
They're the upsell. They're how to turn like a $3 sale into a $13 sale.
Yeah, exactly. We want to have the flowers if we can for when we do the seedling sale, because when we were, chatting to people last year for the seedling sale, and we were like, oh, we do like flowers. People were like pointing to our like dead tulips, and they're like, oh, like you'll cut a bouquet of those for me? And I'm like, do you want to buy my dead tulips? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, you don't. So I'm not going to sell them to you. But I was like, oh, people coming to buy plants want that quick fix. They want flowers. So, I bought more later bulbs, but the tulips are usually kind of finished into May. They finish quite early here. Okay, guys. No, I don't mind the jumping, but quiet, okay? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how the bulbs are gonna work. I don't
Yeah.
know what's gonna happen. But as I was saying to someone today, I'm like, okay, we're buying 4,000, like whatever, like we can afford it. Like it's not gonna break
I
the
think
bank.
worst case scenario, we can take a big pile of tulips out in front of the house and have like a big tulip sale if we can't sell them when they're ready.
Yeah, I mean, my worst case scenario is I'm like worst case scenario. We get through our sale. We see that we sold 0 tulips. No one wants our tulips. And we're like, oh no, we have 4,000 coming. And I'm like, whatever. We're gonna sell them as bulbs, and we sell them as bulbs in the fall when they show up instead of even planting them. We're buying them at wholesale prices. We can offload them without losing any sort of money. I really don't need to worry about it.
We planted a bunch along the road, somebody said.
Yeah, we planted a strip along the fence. The issue, so we've been since the day we moved in, we've been talking about having plantings along the road front. Because the issue with our house is it has a creepy mansion vibe. Here, like you explained about the creepy mansion.
Well, that's Serena's term.
Like, yeah, but basically we've been constantly working towards making it more inviting.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, you can play in here, but you can't talk. It has to be a no talking game.
See how that works out. So basically our driveway is like very kind of skinny and it catches people off guard and it's not easy to find. And then you drive down it and there's like a wall of cedars and it's kind of dark and you don't really know like where you're going, and some people can kind of be intimidated to pull down it. So eventually when we have the roadside stand built, the access won't even be from that driveway. It'll just be right on the road, which is one of the reasons why we think that the roadside stand is going to do so well, is that we don't have to convince people to pull in.
Yeah.
Guys, hey.
Yeah, you guys. Okay, you go play in your rooms. Okay, go play in the guest room with the crib.
She said she locked her lips. Sam, are you gonna lock your lips up?
He's saying no. What were we saying? Oh yeah, lots of people don't know we have a farm, right? Because around here you drive and you see all the orchards, right? It's like open, but we have this like really weird setup where it's like this, privacy wall, and then the house, right? So and also too, lots of places here are residential. It'll be like an orchard, a single residential home, like an orchard, right? Like there's been some weird zoning stuff where things have been pulled out of the farmland.
Like ours used to be.
Yeah, ours used to be the neighbors, and it would have been 10 acres.
So that's why we have this like skinny rectangle of a property.
And then the neighbor on the other side. So our neighbor has the 7.5 acres that would have made the 10 with us, and then right beside him is a house that is like on like a 1/4 of an acre. It's like on this like really tiny lot, and it's just been cut out of like the orchard after that.
That's after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same going in the other direction. So
so lots of people see our house. Know that we have a farm, which is the reason why we started doing Sundays on the roadside to be like, hey, we are people who have a farm. Mm-hmm. Look, we grow flowers and veggies.
The other problem,
we often are like, come, and we like make them like we give them a quick tour.
Yeah.
And they're like, I had no idea this was here.
Yeah.
And that usually, then they're like, oh, they're excited.
One of the problems with growing out in front of the house, though, is that it's really dry and it gets up to, like oven temperatures in the summer because it just seems to bake.
Yeah, it's so hot.
And so
there.
dry.
Yeah.
And we don't really have a lot of irrigation set up there. So eventually I imagine we will be...
Oh, yeah. There's going to... I mean, ideally, I'd like irrigation up there this year. As we work on the irrigation.
Yeah.
We're on Google Maps. We're on Google Maps as Red Roof Family Farm.
One of the other
You know,
problems
like
that we have.
online, we go by "You Can't Eat the Grass," which was our name before we started the farm. But we wanted the farm. I mean, "You Can't Eat the Grass" would be a weird farm name.
Yeah.
And we started.
It's already a weird name.
Yeah, it's already a weird name. And we go. We wanted to build the farm as like a location. So that's why we named it like Red Roof Family Farm, because we have a red roof. And family, because there's lots of red roof farms.
Yeah, we were trying to be Red Roof Farm.
Yeah, we wanted to be Red Roof Farm, but surprise, that already
That's already
exists.
taken. And then like the family part of it doesn't necessarily. It actually.
It's
kind of fits.
aspirational.
Well, it does fit a little bit because sometimes people will come and like Sam will like help them.
Yeah, yeah, we were laughing because like for so much of the COVID stuff, like we'd be doing whatever, and then like a car would pull up and Sam would like hear, and he'd come out and he'd be like, "Oh, hi," and like Sam has like he doesn't speak very well, so no one knows what he's saying. And then he'd be like, "Oh, like let me show you the fridge," and he'd like open the fridge and be like babbling and like showing. No, you know what?
Be nice to Buddy.
No, don't do that.
I got it.
He'd be showing them all the stuff that's there,
This.
and then he'd be like,
I'm two-fisted.
then he'd be like telling them about like, oh, and then you pay here, and he'd be like pointing. We had this like little money jar, so he actually did. People had no idea what he was saying, but like I'd heard him go through his like little spiel, and he had a pretty good spiel going. It just it was undecipherable.
One of like my goals with the farm is to be like a community hub, and what I really want to do is, for one,
yeah, because someone was asking about if we wanted to do like the porch thing, like what Nicole did.
Yeah, what my dream would be is that like once a month we do like an open house farm tour, where not farm tour but an open house on the farm where people can like bring their family and like.
Thank you so much.
The kids.
The cat fund.
Careful, yeah.
The cats will appreciate.
And yeah, like basically just people can come and the kids can run around because like everybody who comes here with kids, the kids love it. It was tough. It was very tough this year because, kids would come and our kids wanted to play with kids and their kids wanted to be energy and explore, and we had to like keep people separate, and like they'd be like, kids would be like, oh, they'd show up and they'd be like, I want to play on that swing set or like with this toy, and we're like, oh, you can't really.
And
So-
that varied too, depending on what the restrictions were.
Yeah, but my goal is
There's still lots of stuff in the box.
To have-
we're getting kind of off topic.
to have this like
Yeah,
monthly.
liability is definitely like we need to get rid of the everything,
Our-
all the kid stuff.
Our farm insurance is like, okay, and what are all the things that you do? And it's like, well, we do a nursery sale, we do roadside sales, we do market sales, we sell flowers
I think we were
and
like,
veggies.
I think we're like the first
And every box we
one,
check,
we were
they're
like,
like,
oh, we're
ding,
gonna do
ding,
veg,
ding.
we're gonna do flowers, and they're like, oh, we don't cover that. We're like, what do you mean?
Anyways,
Yeah.
let's take a look at another thing here.
Oh wait, no, but first I wanted to say the thing about, because your thing about the community hub is also
That's
like
my
what.
goal.
Yeah, but I agree, and like, but
Yeah.
the outbuilding plays into that,
Yeah.
right? Because that is what Ian's been really working on, and like one of the things that we're super excited about
Yeah.
this year.
So we got these windows done, and about 3 weeks before the windows got done, the window company came by and dropped off like they had a truckload of trim.
No,
They had a truckload of trim.
no, open the door.
Let the
Open
cats
door.
out. Let the cats out. They don't want to be held like that. So they dropped off so much trim, and then the installers came and they were like, do just doing their thing, and I was like, hey, so do you guys want to know where all that trim is? And the guy's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you dropped off so much trim. Like, do you want to see where it is? And he sees it and tells me, we're not using all that. You guys are gonna have so much left over, and we did. We had so much left over. that I put baseboards and trim around, like
Yeah, baseboards and molding.
Yeah.
Go eat pizza. You have pizza.
I'll be down in a few minutes, okay? Yeah, that many minutes. And
okay,
through that entire building, and it really like because the walls are like plywood that's like rough cut, and there's all these.
I'm gonna interrupt you.
It
this
really
is getting
sloppy.
very backstory.
But it.
Okay, so what I was kind of hoping he'd go into is we have this outbuilding. It has like 1,000 square feet that is the like shop. And then it has 1,000 square feet that is like this, kind of living-ish space.
That's not.
We're in a lot for the videos. Like if you've seen the videos, you 100% have seen us in this space. And it's very rough and it's unfinished. But the long-term goal and what we're really working on right now is getting it finished. It's gonna get painted. It's now got this trim up, and it's gonna look really nice. We think. And then we want it to stop being like this super trashy area, and start to kind of being this space that we can utilize in different ways, like being a community hub. Yeah. Right. So we're excited about being able to potentially do like classes, like doing like
a bouquet making class.
Or, like someone was asking about Nicole's bouquet bar thing where she does on her porch. We'd love to be able to like put the flowers out and, have like Friday night, bouquet making, right? Where it's like a drop-in thing. It's just, there's lots and lots and lots of potential of the stuff that we can do with that building, once you're allowed to be in shared spaces.
we did a video, the bouquet making, dried flower bouquet making video the other day, and I think Serena was arranging a bouquet on a trash can with trays put on it for like a table surface because we had like no space. But we got 2 shipping containers the other day. People probably watch our videos and are like, these are the messiest people in the world. But like, I'd be out in that outbuilding and I'd get so frustrated because there was so much stuff in it, and I'd go to clean it and I wouldn't even know where to take the first step because there was so much stuff there. You just make a pile, you move a pile from one spot to another, and I'd say to myself, that's no use of my time. So like I couldn't even clean it. I was like, I need to get shipping containers. But once we got those, I was able to clear out that outbuilding of tons of stuff. And
they're still like empty.
Yeah.
There's still space. Infinite space in them. Ian's already like,
I'm like, I need another one.
I'm like, I have a spot to store all of your precious treasures. It's called the dump. They have a very low fee to access it.
So now that there is like open space in there, it's a lot easier to work on it. And once I get this like finishing work done and then it gets all painted, it's actually going to look like a place that people would want to be. Yeah. And people won't look at us and think that we're like trashy.
It's going to look so good. I'm going to be tempted to let Ian make a video about it, even though it's off topic. Ooh. I'm very strict about everything having to be on topic. Yeah. But I'm gonna be pretty stoked.
I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah. Ian has a list of where he makes all of his ideas, and I'm like, we're never gonna make that because it's off topic.
I have a video right now that Serena has greenlighted.
Do it quickly, and then we'll get back to the unboxing.
What do you want me to do?
Well, tell your story quickly.
What's my story?
What do you mean? You're talking about your video.
No,
your joke.
I was just saying. Oh, do you want me to tell the whole thing?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think people are going to have to wait to hear this joke.
Ian has a joke, and it's so good, he's not going to tell you.
It's so good that Serena...
It's so off topic that when he pitched it to me as a video that we're going to make, he's like, so my birthday's coming up.
Which means I get to make a special birthday video.
I was like...
self-indulgent birthday
I was like,
video.
so you are going to use the birthday card to try to get permission to make an off-topic video.
But the joke is so good.
It was like, it's on topic enough that I give him permission.
Yeah. I got another video that I'm going to make about my observations in the first year of having chickens. I think that's going to be a good video too.
Yeah, but also slightly off topic.
Slightly off topic.
That's like the...
Sam, set your pillows and your blankets up
Yeah, you're
again.
gonna hurt yourself.
You have to jump pretty far to get to your pile now.
We have like a stage in our bedroom. Our bedroom is like... This house is so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a platform halfway through the bedroom. Yeah, and so he's like jumping off the bed, but he's getting pretty close to falling off the stage. Okay, this is supposed to be an unboxing video. We were doing so good at the beginning. We were on topic there, but you know, there's a reason why I made a backstory emoji for all the members. Yeah, this is our bedroom. Someone's like, "What? You're in your bedroom?" This is our bedroom. We've been doing them in here because Ian, the kids usually are like in the living room or in the kitchen, and for Ian to be able to be in them, he wants to be where he can hear the kids.
Yeah.
When we have like all the dried flowers in the background, that has been in the outbuilding because we have like a couch in the right there where that light is in the outbuilding.
And the kids have no problem like walking down there when they need us.
Yeah, and Ian, they're fine in the house. Like they can come get us. We're less nervous about it when the weather's nice. But when it's cold, because we know that they'd be resistant to come if there was like something that happened. We try to.
But they are farm kids. They know their way around the farm.
Yeah, they definitely know their way around the farm. It'll be like, "Where's Sam?" He's like hanging out. He's like geared himself up in all of his winter gear. He's hanging out with the chickens. Okay, back to unboxing. Here's our little jumper. What do you think, Sam? What's your favorite thing about living on a farm?
I like the farm and I like.
He's getting distracted by the
playtime.
comments.
Yeah.
He likes his new toy. My parents saved all of my parents are, I come by my hoarding naturally. They saved all the toys from when me and my brother were kids. And then they got shoved into the back of their storage locker. Ian's like, "What? They get a storage locker? I should have at least a dozen shipping containers." And so they found these train tracks, and we've been to have a reason for Sam to be with us in the outbuilding during the day when Leah's at school. We've set them up out there, and he's been very much enjoying them.
Yeah. Sam will just hang out with me while I'm doing all my work.
Yeah.
He's a lot of fun because he just hangs out. He's really interested.
Yeah, he's interested in how things works, and he likes working.
He'll be like
if I'm like the perfect example is if I'm like pitting apricots.
Over by the bed
if
you're gonna jump
sitting there and I'm like taking
over by the bed
the pits out of apricots. He'll come, he'll pull a chair up, he'll start pitting apricots with me. Whereas Leah will be like, "Ugh, gross, I'm not doing work, ugh," and she'll go off and do something. But if or we're unloading the dishwasher, he comes and he starts and he sees someone working, he joins in on the work. Which is exciting for the future. Okay. Seeds. Let's get back to this unboxing because you guys, seriously, it's like a filled box, and we've talked about carrots.
Grab your pillows and put them close to
as
bed.
is tradition. I mean, it's obviously going to be a 2-hour unboxing. Okay. Here we go. Ian, cover your face. Put your hand up. There we go. Okay, so this is Larkspur. The first year on the farm. Oh, we got a t-shirt. I like the merch. Yeah, Ian's wearing some merch today.
I'm a tomato-based life form.
Okay. Larkspur. So the first year on the farm, I planted some of this, and I'd never grown this before, and then the seeds came up, and it was a weedy mess, and I didn't know what was weeds and what was Larkspur. But in the long run, sorry guys, my alarm going off. Seriously need to do something about the fact my do not disturb doesn't work. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so this is Larkspur, not delphiniums. So this is easy to grow as long as I put it out early enough. I can direct seed this and it comes up, and it did quite well. The problem with it, the reason why I didn't grow it last year, okay guys,
You locked your lips up, Sam.
yes. I should just turn the alarm off. I have it set for Monday or Sunday to Thursday because it's to get them to bed on time for school. It doesn't go off on the weekends. And I do these every week. I should just turn today off on the alarm. Let's try to remind me, and I'll do that. Yeah, so Larkspur. Okay, please. Okay, it did pretty good that first year, but you need to succession plant it. If you just plant it once, if you're gonna do that, then you can't keep jumping. If you just plant it once, it just blooms all at once, and then it's done, and that's not very useful. It had a very wildflower, meadow look to it, which isn't really the look that our flowers go for. Right? What do you?
Yeah.
Ian probably doesn't even remember it. I don't even know if I picked any of it. But yeah. So I'm doing it again. Because here, let's see. Do I have? Because the other thing that I keep doing every year is okay. Cover your face, Ian. Just put your hand. Okay. So baby's breath. This what is it? Covent Garden Market Baby's Breath. This is an annual. Okay, no, you guys. Okay, can you get them out of here? Okay, they're getting ejected. You're game over. You're getting kicked out. Okay, so this is an annual's baby breath, and it doesn't look like your normal baby breath. It looks a lot more green and lush. But when it's ready, right? So I basically have to plant this every week. I need to just have a succession rotation going, and every year I plant it, and I usually get the first couple successions planted on it because I like having it and I like using it. But then I get distracted. But so. This year's gonna be the year. I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna basically I'm gonna have the Larkspur with it. I saw someone saying they winter sowed this, and I planted some of this in the fall. I have some cool flower experiments going. Okay, Ian, no, they just have to get out. They can't be in here anymore. No, you guys, you had lots of chances, and it's not working. No, it's not working. You guys, if you want to play, you can go jump on the other mattresses in the guest room. We have so many bedrooms in our house. It's ridiculous. So we have one room that's completely empty, and they have their baby crib mattresses in there. At one point Ian called it the jumping room.
It was the trampoline room.
And we had someone who had kids, and we were oh, come, you can hang out in the trampoline room, and they were these people are crazy people. And that's when we learned that not only parents but also children judge us. Anyways, so yeah, I got some of this growing. I've been filming every once in a while doing this cool flowers thing because I think it's gonna make a better video to say how it went. Start to finish. All in one video rather than
there's no real information if you just do it at the start.
Yeah, because I have no idea. But so we just had -20 for a week. So they finally got exposed to some cold weather. So far it's looking good. No, you guys go away. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I'm gonna try succession planting these. I don't think I planted this super early. I don't think I planted the Larkspur when it was very cold out, because I've heard that it has a hard time germinating and you can't grow it in the heat or anything. And I think it did fine. I don't remember doing anything special for it. But anyways, I'll see if you know, and maybe it's this specific variety. Maybe this is just really easy to grow. You know, it says start outdoors in spring for summer blooms. Larkspur prefers cool temperatures for optimum germination. Can be started in early fall for next spring's flowers in some areas. I don't know. Maybe this one isn't. Maybe I'll start succession planting this, and then this will take over. Yeah, like I said, you know, this is an experiment year. This is about doing, you know, trying some stuff out. You know, and giving a little bit more mental attention to the growing of the flowers. I haven't been too worried about growing flowers well, or about growing flowers properly, because I've been more worried about selling flowers. But you know, this year I'm gonna give them a little bit more of my mental space, and we'll see. You know, maybe I can learn a few things about flowers this year, and then we'll do better next year. So this is Rudbeckia Indian Summer, and this is amazing. I love this. I have some of this going already. It's not germinated. I have this like, you know, I'm doing this winter sowing experiment, but rather than doing like milk jugs and fussing, because that's like way too much work, I'm planting them into my 72 trays, and then I'm just gonna like put them outside in the greenhouse, and they can just germinate whenever they want to germinate. So I have some of this Indian Summer going, but I'm also going to start some of this. It says it's an annual, but I grew it in the first year, and it like didn't really do anything, and it like did amazing last year. Like I was super happy, super healthy. So I'm, you know, and so many Rudbeckias are perennials. So I don't know. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe I'll have this without even growing it, but I really liked it. I really liked having it. Ooh, cherry brandy. I know that one. That one's nice too. But this, basically, the only Rudbeckias I do are this, and these are like insane. The flowers are like huge. Like they're like big, beautiful, really, really stunning, and huge production. I do this one, and then I do Trilobia. But yeah. I see status. Where do you get it? I don't know. Apparently, because I don't have any. I forgot to buy it. Honestly, at this point, I'm thinking I'm not doing status this year. Is my assumption. If I don't have status seeds already, maybe I do. Maybe I didn't order it because I already have some, or I don't know. Maybe it's like coming in. Maybe I realized I didn't order it and it's on my next William Dam. I don't know. I feel like it's like, you know, I think I said this. So I did that whole video about seed shopping where I'm like, go through all your stuff, make sure you have everything, and then order everything. And then like, if you forget something, whatever, if you forgot it after doing all this like work of like making sure you order everything, you didn't want it. It wasn't meant to be, and there's always next year. So, you know, I'm not gonna rush around trying to find status if I don't have it on hand. If I actually did forget to buy status, then you know it wasn't meant to be. I'll do it next year. New resource to get sunflowers, or do you like both? Honestly, price wise, you can't beat Sunflower Selections, that video that I just did. They don't have everything, but they have like I could easily only buy from Sunflower Selections. I did my audit. Yes, I did my audit. Okay, so here we go. Calendula. I really like calendula. It isn't necessarily great as a cut flower, but I used up all my calendula seeds. And this is the one. This is the one that like I had before. I had Oopsie Daisy, and then this Indian Prince. And the Indian Prince, it actually gets pretty tall. So the calendula blooms really early, but almost like too early. Like I don't really have anything else. And then it doesn't have super long stems, so it's not great as a cut flower. It lasts pretty good. Like the vase life on it is pretty good. You know, but I there's a few things that I grow just because I like it. Sweet alyssum is, like a little, it's like a ground cover type plant, little white flowers. I feel like I should have, yet again, I don't think it's in here. I don't know. I feel like maybe I did. Maybe I have somewhere of it. Like I said, I trust that I did the seed audit and I bought everything properly. But yeah, so every year I grow a ton of sweet alyssum, and then I just put it around everywhere because I love it and I think it's great. And it's super easy to grow. So I usually I do up multiple trays of it for myself, and I just plant it everywhere because I like walking around and seeing it. And that's kind of how I feel about the calendulas. I don't really do anything with it. It's edible, I can use it in my salad mixes. So it's early, so I have it for my salad mixes, maybe when there isn't other things. And so, but yeah, so this Indian Prince, I really like this. It's really stunning. It has darker colors on the back, and it's super frilly. I know these pictures are really bad, but you can kind of see how complex all the petals are. But then, so this is the new one that I'm doing. Dark orange, full double blooms with quilled petals, called Orange Porcupine. Here, I don't know. Saying an improved version of radio with better doubleness, darker orange color, and more quilled petals. I don't know. This is new for me. I'm excited to try it. But this isn't necessarily for the cut flowers. I might use them. I don't know. How tall does this get? It's saying it's 20 inches. I don't know. I can have some stuff for me. If this doesn't work out, I usually I put them in around, I do them kind of edging, or I put them into my herb garden, because I have a herb garden that is more decorative, and I have some spots that are decorative. So I'm excited to see what it looks like. Okay, and here, this is my favorite. Okay, so Whirlybird nasturtium. This is a huge pack. There's a lot of seeds in here. Saying it's 350 to 400 seeds. I think.
Oh, that's a face.
I had a bad burp. We had pizza for lunch and dinner. Greasy Pizza Hut pizza.
TMI.
I know. It's definitely. Ugh. Anyways, okay. Whirlybird nasturtium. So I made my top 10 seeds video last year, and then I got messages nonstop about apparently everything that I had in that video, because all my stuff is from William Dam, isn't actually available anywhere. So Whirlybird, I love. This is the nasturtium, and I grow this as an edible flower. This isn't for cut flowers. This I grow for adding to salad mix, to make the salad mix super beautiful. Yeah, and so exactly, Whirlybird. Apparently William Dam has it. No one else has it. Can't get it down in the States. But the reason why I like Whirlybird is that the flowers sit above the greenery. So it makes it really easy and fast to pick the flowers off because they're sitting up higher. But Jewel mix is really similar to Whirlybird in the fact that the flowers sit above the plants. So I grow Whirlybird. If you are not buying from William Dam, I advise growing Jewel as an alternative, because I did a bunch of research into that.
These are a mixed color.
Yeah, and it's mixed color. And
red, orange, and yellow.
No, they also have a pinky color. And they also have some very it's a really nice mix. They're really pretty. I
love the taste of them.
Yeah,
Spicy.
The issue with
or peppery.
Yeah,
not spicy, but
radishy peppery. Almost.
Yeah.
Or pungent spicy. They're really good. I take issue with edible flowers, because
You gonna start a war?
What?
With edible flowers?
Yeah. A war. A nuclear war. Yeah. so many edible flowers. My thing, okay. Backstory time. Get those emojis ready, because I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here for a minute. Okay. There's lots and lots and lots of things in the world that are edible and that you can eat. But just because you can eat something doesn't mean you should eat something.
But nasturtiums you like.
Yes.
And nasturtiums you should eat.
No, I'm doing my
No,
rant.
I just told your story.
No, I'm doing my rant.
How many words was that?
Doing
10?
my rant. Get your face out of here so no one focuses on you. Yeah. So, like, for foraging, yeah, sure, there's all these things you can eat. Doesn't mean you should eat them. You know, and I feel this way about stuff in the garden, too. There's tons of stuff that people grow because it looks good, and it doesn't taste good. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't like purple carrots. I've never had a purple carrot that tastes, like, good. And people will be like, oh, they taste so good. Purple carrots are my favorite. And you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
It's all in your head. It's all psychosomatic. You just really like purple because they're just
not as good.
They're not as good, right? Like they've obviously been bred for purple, not for flavor. You know, and obviously orange carrots were bred for orange too, because orange carrots aren't naturally orange. But they did that like 100 years ago, and then they spent the last 100 years getting them nice and tasty again. You know, so maybe in 50 years from now, purple carrots will look great and taste great. But I've never had a purple carrot that has tasted anywhere near as good as our orange carrots. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my issue with the edible flowers, and they're like super trendy, is some of them are like disgusting, right? Like yeah, they're not poison, but they are like not a tasty snack. So so we make the salad mix. We grow the best salad mix ever. It tastes like so good, and like it's so delicious, and you just like want to eat like mountains of it. And then like we dump garbage on top of it to make it taste bad. Like, no. So
so basically what you're saying is what I said,
which is nasturtiums taste good.
About 30 times the weight.
Yeah, you know what? You can like go put the kids to bed. Like no one needs you here. Being rude.
Somebody said hi
and
to
heckling.
me. Somebody said hi to me
rude,
specifically.
Rude. Yeah, but he is right. But yeah, so like, yeah, there's lots of stuff that you can grow, but they don't taste good. But nasturtium does. Like nasturtium legitimately adds.
Somebody said that they like the shape of their leaves. I do too. They remind me of like lily pads.
Yeah.
Or like a little bit like eucalyptus.
Oh, I think someone said it's Sunflower Steve. Okay.
Whoa, it's Sunflower Steve.
Oh, Sunflower Steve. He's famous.
Yeah, we got a famous person here.
No, but we're like legitimately, you're famous to us. We're all like, Sunflower Steve has so many good tips. Okay, so now we're slightly gonna go off topic.
His tip about stripping all the leaves.
Oh, Sunflower Steve, your trick about stripping the leaves is gonna be transformative. Transformative for. I had to hear it twice. I had to hear you say it, and then I ignored you, and then I had to hear Lisa Marie Ziegler say it before I was like, "Where is stripping sunflower leaves off?" Before I cut them, been my whole life because apparently I'm doing it wrong. But so I'm really against dyeing things. I really don't want to do it because I don't want to turn like any of my flowers into garbage. You know, and so many of those like dyes aren't necessarily great.
Something you'd throw in the compost.
You know, like it's like would I want to eat this? But when you talked about dyeing the sunflowers for the fall, I was like, make them like the like deep, rich orange colors. It's very tempting, and we have a bunch of white ones coming. So
they dye real good.
Yeah, they dye real good, but I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do some experimenting with like some food coloring dyes.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't want to be putting paint on the flowers or glitter onto the flowers. But if it's like food safe dye, that I'd be comfortable putting into the compost.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely exciting stuff. If you guys haven't seen it, Nicole of Flower Hill Farm did a bunch of interviews with Sunflower Steve. Yeah, and like amazing sunflowers that he's got going. Once he gets his sunflowers, we'll have to do we'll have to be like, go buy these sunflowers, and then we'll break his website.
Yeah.
Just like we did for Sunflower Selections. Die, not die. We're getting sucked in. Okay. Oh yeah, no, if you haven't seen the interviews, they're really cool. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but like I really appreciate people who grow seeds. Because I will gladly spend all the money in the world so I don't have to grow seeds.
Yeah, we're not
I
a
have
seed farm.
zero interest in growing seeds for myself. But I think it's so cool, all like the breeding stuff and like hearing about like what people do for doing all these. Yeah, it was on Flower Hill Farms channel. She did them when were they?
It was like a month ago or so.
Yeah, they're like a little bit before before Flores gave her more money. Yeah, I don't know, like they are pretty. I can't wait to see Nicole grow them. Yeah, but you guys should check out what Nicole and Sunflower Steve has to say in those videos. Yeah, I know, sidetracked. I need 2 emojis, a rant emoji. Yeah. Now I'm gonna get sidetracked about emojis. Okay, my favorite emoji of all the emojis is the one that is like a dude with a beard with a flower crown.
Yeah.
And I've named that emoji because you have to like put a name in. But I named that one feeling cute because you know like the meme like feeling cute might delete later.
Yeah.
Like I love the idea of like Ian in a flower crown is like feeling cute might delete later.
Because last summer we had like it was like July or August, and we had a market.
Yeah,
and
that
not very many flower bouquets sold. It was a really bad market. And so Serena said to drum up business next week, you have to wear a flower crown. And I don't really have shame. And I want to sell stuff.
Ian doesn't care. You don't wear a flower crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
people were like, I'd never been told how beautiful I was so many times as that day. So
I made it like
what's a boy to think when everybody's
I made it
saying,
like
oh, you look
really,
beautiful today.
I made it like really punchy. I used like the big it was like these big massive zinnias across the front, and then I had like drapey
it was
amaranth.
Actually, it was well done.
It was pretty, yeah. Yeah, I think it turned out well.
It was like a haywire wreath.
Yeah, I made it to like fit his I fit it to his head first. I used the weed amaranth, which I'm obsessed with, the wild amaranth. But it's like so spiky. I actually found the headpiece the other day, and it was all dried onto it. And I was like trying to take the plants off, and it was like spiking through my gloves into my fingers. I was like swearing. Ian's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I love this amaranth, but it's such nasty weed." Okay, back to the seeds.
I will wear a flower crown again next.
Oh yeah, like if I made. Honestly, the only thing limiting Ian from wearing a flower crown is me not having the time or the interest to make him a flower crown. If I made him a flower crown every week, he'd wear the flower crown. And I have to admit, I see this. If you were local, I'd buy a flower crown. That is another reason why I'm a little bit reluctant to send him in flower crowns, because there is no world that I'm making flower crowns to sell.
You can't,
because like
they take so much time,
take forever,
that you can't sell them for a price.
Yeah.
And there's no way to prolong their life. Like you just put them in water, and so then they're soaking as the flower petals.
Yeah, because I made his the night before the market, and then I put it immersed in water, so in the morning, so it wouldn't wilt. But yeah, I'd have to charge $60, $80 for them to be like worth my time.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same people.
And
always,
then you don't want to sell something where people are like, I don't really feel like I got enough.
you know what? Well, you know what? They wouldn't sell.
Yeah.
They just straight up wouldn't sell. People will be like, "You're ripping me off. You're trying to like." I'm like, "No, these just take forever."
But you said you wanted flower crowns. You didn't buy your flower crowns.
They're like, "Yeah, no, I wanted them for free." You know, it's the same. We have people who are like, who come up and they're like, "I want to buy one sunflower," and like we don't have that available because no one actually wants to buy one sunflower. They don't want to spend $10 on flowers, right? They want to like have flowers.
They want a $2 price point.
Yeah, and we're like, go away.
we don't have a $2 price point.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, okay, dried flower crowns, sure, but you still wouldn't spend $60 or $80 on a dried flower crown, and I'd still have to charge that to do it.
It would be so fragile.
Yeah, but no, but for Ian, I could make him a dried one for him, and then it's ready every week. But it's also less fun. Kind of the fun of the flower crown is that it's like big and decadent.
Yeah, it can be a special occasion thing.
Okay. Back to it. Okay, so Gomfrina. Okay, cover your face with your hands. Okay, Gomfrina. This is the only thing of Gomfrina we bought this year. This is hot mix. And this is the QIS mix of red, carmine, and orange. And so the reason why we bought this is I still have Amaranth or Gomfrina Globe Amaranth, Gomfrina. I still have a bunch of seeds left over, and as much as I loved this, the stuff was amazing. It is a pain in the butt to pick. This takes forever. I complain all the time about bachelor buttons. I don't know if you guys have heard my rant about bachelor buttons. My issue with bachelor buttons is that they are very difficult to pick. And people want to pay $0 for them. You know, I put a handful of bachelor buttons into a bouquet. Everyone's like, I don't care. I'm not going to pay you money for that handful of bachelor buttons. But they take as much work as like a full-size Benry's giant. And so that was kind of, Sam, that you gotta, no, not over here, please.
Less of the rolling.
So that's the same. You gotta keep it. That's the same issue that I had with the Gomfrina. They were cool. They were awesome. People loved seeing them. But the people they don't want to pay a lot of money for them, but I can't quickly harvest them. But we loved, I think it was Carmine. I think it was the QIS Carmine. That was like our #1 favorite.
I feel like they add a lot to the bouquet.
They did. That specific one did, because the color on it was like incredible. It was hard to look at. It like hurt my eyes. Like my brain was like, I don't understand what color this is.
Yeah, and the camera was like...
Yeah, the camera would never like focus properly. The camera was like, whoa, like it just like messes with your brain, the color. Yeah, so super incredible. And then I've seen, I didn't grow the orange. Orange isn't a color that like I gravitate to in general, but I saw some of these in the orange online, and I was like, oh yeah, that is awesome. I want that. So this is a mix. It has all the colors that I want, and then I still have some seed left over, so I didn't have to buy a lot more. I saw someone asking about lavender, and so the issue with lavender is the issue that we have with, a lot of the flowers, which is we don't have a lot of space. Kind of going back to like us buying the bulbs, everyone recommended that we buy daffodils. Like they were like, don't bother with the tulips, buy the daffodils. They come back every year and they multiply. But our property is 2.5 acres, and like that's like the entire property.
Probably
like
an acre and a half. We could have maybe an acre.
Not even. It's like it's about an acre that we have of growing space. And so we need to be very, 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 very conservative about what we grow. And our focus, like we said this back at the beginning of the video, but it's, food is our focus, flowers are the add-on. So we probably have some of we probably are more strict about the flowers that we grow than so many people, because the flowers for us have to hit on so many things for it to be worth it for us. They need to produce a very high amount of money per square foot. And the reality is that lavender really doesn't. Think about what would you pay for a bunch of lavender, right? And then
We've tried to sell it before. I know the answer to this.
Well, okay, I have a couple lavender plants for us, right? Just plants, and I have cut them, and I've made tiny little bundles, these tiny little bundles, and I've sent them down, and I've sold them as herbs, and they've sold it at an okay price for that, but to buy them as a flower, they have zero value.
I do really like the shape.
I love the plant. I love.
The color.
They are drought tolerant, but they will not grow here without water. Nothing grows here without water. Grass, couch grass, doesn't grow here without water. Go back and look at some of our videos in
the first year we were here.
The perfect example is, go back. I made a video which is all of the B-rolls. It's all of the B-rolls for all the monthly tours. Go and look at that, and you'll see how it starts green and it just gets
Brown.
deader and deader and deader until at a certain point, the farm just pops because it's surrounded by just yellow, and that's dead grass. The couch grass survives in the ground. But
the rhizome survives.
The rhizome survives, but everything dies here. As far as I can tell, I think the only thing we could grow here without irrigation is saffron, because you need it basically dies in the summer, and then it grows in the spring and the fall only. It's something that grows. In our hillsides, we have wild cactuses growing. And in the summer they Canada, shrivel up and die because there's not enough water.
It's the only place in Canada that has cactus.
Yeah. Makes sense. There's not very many deserts in Canada.
But they're just these little tiny balls.
Yeah.
They're very,
Yeah. So
frontier cactus range.
Yeah. So I am very focused when I pick the flowers on stuff that's drought tolerant. The reason why I need stuff that's drought tolerant is I would prefer to water every second day than every day. But yeah, there's no growing without irrigation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even trees die here. If you don't water your trees, they'll die.
Yeah. Especially when they're getting established.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just enjoying the quiet. So rare. So rare in this house.
No, but we like lavender, and lavender does well here. If we had 10 acres, it would be a different story, right? Because then it would be we have plenty of space to grow it, and it could thrive on neglect. But I'm also we still probably wouldn't, because there's so many better things.
Someone's in Southwest Idaho. I really like that area. We drove through it a few times. That's
I need to do.
What's the Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene.
Is that Idaho?
I think so. It's in that little corner area. But then
that area is so pretty.
But then it gets into some drier stuff.
I thought that we were whenever I think of Idaho, I think more of the northwest, because that's where that ridge was that we drove along. We've driven to Vegas a couple times. So that's when we've been through Idaho, because the highway down. Yeah. But yeah, there's like some really cool stuff. There's very few places that I haven't been like, oh, they're super beautiful. Other than, well, I was gonna say Ontario, but even Ontario, I'm like, I get it. It kind of sucks now. They've kind of destroyed it, but I can see why it would have been like so beautiful.
Oh yeah, Southern Ontario would have been like a paradise when first discovered.
Yeah, totally.
We actually did a road trip across the U.S.
Yeah,
when
we drove across the U.S. when
Leah was 8 months, 7 months or so, and we went from like West Coast Canada, and we drove all the way down to Key West.
Yeah, we drove as far as you can drive.
And we kind of took a more northern route when we went down, and then on the way back, we went through like Texas and California, Nevada, and stuff like that. And we were hitting all kinds of national parks. I think we hit 10,
we did like
10 national parks.
No, I think we did more than that.
No.
Yeah,
10's a lot.
I know 10's a lot, but I think we did more than that. When you
10
start...
is 2 more than 8.
Because we did like most...
We did the Everglades. We did that cave...
Carlsbad Cavern.
Maybe was that one?
Yeah.
We did the Petrified Forest. We did Death Valley. We did a bunch of the California.
We did the California mountain ones. Yeah. We did a ton more than that. We did a lot.
And we kept going back through New Orleans.
Oh, we did the Texas one.
The Texas one was
Big
so
Bend
cool.
National Park. Yeah, that one was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, and then we like...
And in previous road trips, we'd done like Utah. We went through Utah.
Yeah, we did like a bunch of the Utah. Oh my god, Utah, you guys. We were like, we're going on vacation. We're going to Utah, and all of our family was like, what? Like Utah?
Yeah, like Moab.
They're like, you're gonna go visit some Mormons, and we're like, well, yeah, but that's not why you go to Utah. Yeah, we've been to Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's like incredible.
Yeah,
that was like definitely one of the best. But Utah, oh my god, like we have to go back to Utah.
To Moab. Oh, it's so cool.
So cool. Utah is like so cool.
And we went to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons.
Yeah. Oh, the Yellowstone, I was kind of like, yeah, like it's cool to go to Mars and all, but the Grand Tetons, so beautiful. The Glacier National Park too. We're obsessed with national parks. That is basically the moral of the story.
We have,
pretty much all of our vacations we've been on have been us going to national parks.
Leah was 7 months old, so we could stick her in a car seat and throw a bunch of toys at her. We had a bag of food toys that was still in the mesh packaging.
I forgot about that. I think we bought that in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it like held together. She just like kept turning it, just like looking at all the things.
And then we drive like we had a bunch of big days where we do like 10 hours or something like that. And
the first day we did like, because my mom is always like, it's not gonna work out. It's gonna be like, so my mom was like, she's like, we made this plan that we're gonna do this. She's like, and she like bitched us for all this time. And then she was like, good luck, you're gonna be like 2 hours. And then the first day we got like halfway across America on the first day. And then we sent her this email. We're like, oh, you were right, we like really didn't get too far, we only got to this town. And we like said the town name instead of like being like, oh, we drove for 16 hours, because then she'd have to look up the town, and then she'd be like
by the end of the second day, we were outside Memphis. I think.
Were we? Maybe.
It was either
Memphis that I think you're right. I think we got to Memphis by the
third day.
By the end of Yeah. No. That was a fun trip though. I want to go back. I want to do the Dakotas.
Oh, and
that's
Leah,
like, I really want to.
Leah was so funny at that time because she's always been
so social.
She's very social, and she had discovered, because she was like all cute and stuff, being like a little 7-month-old baby, and she discovered, because we'd always be in lines at like touristy type stuff at national parks and stuff, and if she like waved at people, then they'd start giving her attention. So she'd be like everywhere we go, she'd just be like waving at like crazy, and then she had an epiphany, and she's like, what if I wave with both hands? And so we'd be in line, and she'd just be like, and this one time we were in Florida, and it was like this bar strip, and it was
Yeah, because like she's such a night owl too, right? Like, and she'd like have slept all day in the car, so we'd be like, we'd be out. It'd be like 11 o'clock at night. We'd be like walking around with her in like a little baby backpack.
And this car drives by, and there was a couple in it, and the couple was like,
they're like
fighting.
stopped at
They were
red
like
light,
screaming
and they're
at
like
each other.
the windows down. They're having like these crazy.
Like you shouldn't have it in public. And then there was Leah like standing or like being.
We're like
right
waiting. We're waiting like
And
on
she's
the
just like-
sidewalk, and she's like they're talking. Look at me.
Look at me! Look at me!
Or like, I laugh. I think of like, because we hit New Orleans on the way down. That was the first time we did New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because so we went to Florida because we were gonna like meet up with Ian's parents had a condo that they were staying at in what's that area? Tampa? Yeah.
Like on the beaches around Tampa.
Yeah, and so we went.
Time check.
No, they always do that when it gets this way. So we hit New Orleans and then went over to Florida. And like, oh my God, New Orleans was like so cool, so fun. But so we were like walking around on the bar strip with like Leah and her like little baby backpack, who's like all stoked to see all these people. And like the New Orleans bar strip's so funny. It has like these like prostitutes like out on the sidewalk, and they were like, oh my God, that baby! And Leah's like, like, because they were like stopping us, like, oh my God, she's so cute. And Leah's just like loving it because like all these like ladies are like giving her all this attention.
And then we had the drums.
Oh yeah, and they'd have all these like bands playing, and Leah just like loves music, like like from birth she was like dancing, she was partying, Do you remember how beautiful? One of the most beautiful towns we drove through was in the Florida Panhandle. Oh yeah, we were like, oh, what? It's right on. It's like kind of like, I don't know. Is it called the Cross? It has like a no. It has like a big bridge. Name. It's not like a beach area. It was like swampy.
No, it was like a river came out there.
Yeah,
and so there's a bridge that went over it.
Because there was like two major towns. There was like the one that was like wasn't it like an army base or like a navy base?
What? Yeah, we went to Ybor.
Yeah. No, sorry. That we're very open-minded, but in general there's nothing to do in Tampa Bay. Sorry guys if you're from Tampa Bay, but there's
we weren't in Clearwater. We were to the south of Clearwater.
Yeah, Clearwater. Is Clearwater the one that I like? What's the one?
Clearwater, yeah, I think.
What's the one that your parents are like, we came here once when we were young and we're never coming back again, and we're like, but this is the good spot.
I think that's right around Clearwater.
Is that like maybe like Clearwater Beach or something?
Yeah.
We can't like, it all just gets muddy. But there was like one area that like we really liked, and like, it was like kind of up the.
But you couldn't park anywhere. You couldn't stop anywhere.
Yeah, you couldn't stop. And we went to a couple, because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm a little bit of a researcher. So Venice Beach? No, that's not it. So I did all this research. It was like, oh, we're gonna be spending like 2 weeks in Tampa. Like, what's there to do in Tampa? And
that
so
natural beach that we went to?
I researched, and there was like a bunch of these St. Pete's. That rings a bell. I mean, the Clearwater rings a bell too.
It was in a condo on the water.
No,
I
mean, that's like literally describing like all of Florida.
It was kind of like a strip mall on the other side, and then along the water, it was like condos, and there was a few condos in a row, and then like a few really nice houses, and then there was more condos.
Ian's making a joke because I feel like St. Petersburg.
I think that's.
I feel like St. Petersburg is the area that we really liked. Yeah, and then like there was like a bridge that got over
when you're driving along the beachfront there, it kind of felt like you were going in one of those chase scenes in an old cartoon where everything was just on repeat, and it'd be like,
yeah,
it'd go on for on and on and on and on.
Yeah, I think this wasn't the area that we stayed in, but like half an hour up the thing, St. Pete's Beach, which we never went to because you just couldn't. I think you had to go there at like 7 in the morning. No, I think that rings a bell. It was like St. Petersburg was the area with like the pizza.
We could be confusing. My favorite part of Florida was Key West, though.
Yeah. Oh, the Florida Keys, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like.
That's where we said we used to talk.
Didn't we do your birthday down there?
I don't know, but
we went to the Florida Keys, and we camped because we drove our minivan and we camped the whole, like the plan was we could camp in the minivan if we needed to, because we're going to all these national parks. So you need to be able to camp. So we were like set up so if we needed to, we could pull into a camping place, camp.
And then sometimes we just go to a Motel 6.
Or we just go to like some cheap roadside hotel. But so we were like, oh, we're gonna go to the Florida Keys, we're gonna like party it up for Ian's birthday. Party's relative because we had a baby strapped to us.
Yeah.
But so I was like, oh well, we gotta find a place, and it was like there's nowhere. There's nowhere to stay. And it was like, oh well, I can find a place at like camping. And like the cheapest camping I could find was like $100 a night. I was like, whoa, we cannot stay here for very long.
Yeah. So even if we had a bunch of money, Serena's too frugal to be able to like spend it comfortably. It wouldn't make her comfortable. So we started having the discussion of how much money we spent
like almost our entire time in Key West, having the conversation of how much money would we have to have in order to come and spend a month in Key West. Like to like rent a condo
and be comfortable.
And for me to be like not like, oh, it's too much money, we can't afford it. Like how much money would we have for me to feel we could afford to spend a month in Key West? And I think the final number was we needed to have $18 million. I think that was like any less than 18 million and it's like we can't afford.
So anyways, we're not going back to Key West.
And we're definitely not going back to Tampa Bay because
we're not going anywhere.
It sucks. Sorry.
Serena's getting ready for some hate mail.
I guess, okay. You need to know this about me. I don't like sand. I have a thing against sand. And the sand at like the beaches there was like so fine that it like would never come off. Like I feel like we got home like 3 months later and like I still had Florida sand like stuck in my butt crack. So the beaches were beautiful, but we're spoiled. We've seen a lot of beaches.
That's why Mommy likes Pebble Beach.
Yeah, that's why I like Pebble Beach. We go to a beach here that is like has rocks instead of sand because that's how much I don't like sand.
Well,
I guess like my thing is I want to see lots of stuff. I've been to Hawaii as like a kid. Hawaii was pretty, but I feel like Hawaii is another one of those ones where you need to have like millions of dollars to like afford to spend lots of time there. Like we like the road trips because we like seeing things. And we love like seeing, yeah, okay. Ian's like, now that I'm done talking about the trip, you better get on with it. Whatever. Anyways, we like driving through the states. It's fun. I'm not against Florida. I'm just saying I don't want to like spend a month in a condo. I'd rather like go and check everything out and like drive and but there's like national parks I haven't seen in Florida. We didn't do the entire list. We want to go back and do that one in Key West once we get that $18 million that we need. But But yeah. Okay, seeds. We're like literally halfway through. It's ridiculous. Some of this is gonna be fast though, because a bunch of this is zinnias. Okay, so what I have here, this is like, so going back in the long ago before we went majorly off topic and started talking about going on a road trip a million years ago, I was saying that we are doing all these experiments on the farm, specifically in the flowers. And so another one that we're doing here, I'm gonna like flip through these, is we are going to try out these flowering kales. So the reason why I've never tried these before is that here, kale in the summer can be a little bit of an issue because it gets overloaded with aphids and it gets like disgusting. So it's kind of hard to grow. There's a handful of ones that I figured out how to grow, my Canadian palm trees. Those do good, but I'm really picky about variety because it's very easy for it to get infested with aphids, and that's gross. You can't even like wash them off. You just have to take it out. So I've been reluctant ever to do the flowering kales because I'm worried that they're just going to get filled with bugs. But the flowering kales, I'm just flipping through these again because they're really cool. The flowering kales, you don't harvest until like the fall. And so I don't want to put flowers into my greenhouse, but it would be nice to be able to have something for Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving happens after a frost. So, most of the stuff that we grow is not frost tolerant at all. But these would be. So, if I had something like this, which is like a really punchy, really stunning focal, this can kind of open up some options for me of stuff that I could do kind of, in that later time of year. Here in Canada, our Thanksgiving is usually in October, I think. I don't know. Our Thanksgiving's usually a month early than America. It's not like Black Friday. That's how I know when your guys' Thanksgiving is. It's when I do my online electronic shopping. But yeah, so I didn't buy a lot. These are kind of expensive, like I bought one. Here's a good example. So this, $13 for 100 seeds. So I'm doing a little bit. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to see how they do. But they're gorgeous. I love them. They're beautiful. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this. Okay, on to the next thing. This is something that you guys should all be excited about because I'm of the opinion that this is the most exciting thing that I grow, which is our zinnias. I think the zinnias, it's like, how can you not love zinnias? Like, they're like amazing. They're so beautiful. Dahlia flowered zinnias. Okay, so here, I'll flip through these and I'll explain. I grow 2 zinnias and that's it. The 2 zinnias that I grow are Bennery's Giant and then Lime Queen. So I only grow Bennery's Giant or Lime Queen because I found that for our customer, they don't care about they don't care about smaller flowers. They don't want me to like have a balance of like big flowers and small flowers. Kind of like what you do more for the florists. My customers, what they care about is how many big punchy zinnias can they possibly get in a bouquet. So it's as much work for me to grow one Bennery's Giant flower as it is for me to grow one, Oklahoma. It's dropping me there. About as much work to grow in Oklahoma. So my customers don't want to pay as much money for those smaller zinnias. They want to pay for zinnias. So I only grow the big zinnias. And then specifically Bennery's Giant, I only grow the Bennery's Giant big zinnias because they are the most disease resistant, like most perfect. They're just like so easy. They're exactly what I want. So this year I'm going to grow way more because we're going to do like straight bunches where it's just like, 10 or 12 zinnias bunched in the field. And for that, I bought them mixed. So I have 1,000 of these Bennery's Giant mixed zinnias. And this I'm going to plant out, and that's going to be my go, and I pick them, I bunch them in the field, ready to go down to be like my what I'm calling straight bunches for the farmer's market for my $10 bouquets. But then I also bought a bunch of colors, specific colors. I still have a bunch of other colors from last year left over. So this is like my top up. So I bought some orange and I bought red. I found I didn't have red and I wanted red last year. So this year I have it. Salmon, this salmon one, this is like, this, if I had to pick one, I'd only grow salmon. The color is just like perfect for blending with stuff. And then wine, this wine color is super, super rich, super beautiful. They didn't have lime, which is another color that I grow. I do the Bennery's Giant Lime. I really like it, but they didn't have it. And it's smaller. The lime flower specifically is a smaller flower. It's not as big and as punchy as the other Bennery's Giant flowers. So for that reason, I bought the Lime Queen lime. I grew them both last year. I grew the Bennery's Giant lime and the Lime Queen lime, and I couldn't see a difference. So, oh, you know what? This is Lime Queen blush. I must have it. I must have enough lime. But yeah, so the Lime Queen series, the colors on these are like incredible. They're like these like muted antique type colors, and like they're a little bit smaller, but the colors are so cool. So these are a must every year. These are expensive. You know, there's like what's the price there? This is 100 pack, and they're $11. But you know, they're super cool. Okay, so when I bought these seeds, I hadn't yet decided that I was gonna buy sunflowers from Sunflower Selects yet. I knew I wanted to get some pro cuts. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was thinking maybe I'd buy them from Johnny's. Okay, can you not do that? I didn't need my sunflowers until like, you know, once the weather's hotter, so I wasn't in a huge rush to purchase them. And so, but I knew that I wanted to do a different mix this year. I knew that no matter what, I wanted to kind of, you know, I talked in the video that I needed to have my mix. I normally buy from William Dam, just like a generic cutting mix. And I knew that this year I wanted to make my own. I wanted to be a little bit more picky. So for that reason, I bought a handful of stuff from William Dam. That was gonna be, so I got this I have no idea how this is. Soraya, I don't know. So this one, super, super, super classic. Very popular. It's a AAS winner. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. And this, like this, I'm gonna add into the mix. And then I bought Lemon Aura. But I was thinking about it. I think I have this already. I think this is one of the doubles that I bought. So, you know, that's going to be kind of just adding into my mix. And then I bought this like dark colored one. What is this? Claret. I think I bought this before. Pollenless, red, cut flower type with improved stems, branching. I think that I grew this last year because there wasn't any deep dark red in the blend. So I bought a deep dark red. So I think that I just was rebuying that. And then the last thing I got here is I got teddy bear. And the teddy bear, I find that they get taller, you know, like they get taller than these like super, super compact ones that I've seen. But so for our seedling sale, you know, the only flowers I kind of have are these like cut flowers. So I found that people coming they didn't want my cut flowers because they're home gardeners, right? They didn't want something that's going to get 4 feet tall. You know, or in the case of the sunflowers, like 6 feet tall, 8 feet tall. So I bought the teddy bear for me, but also for being able to sell at the seedling sale because it's a little bit more compact. You know, and then it's a specialty. You know, it's like this kind of frilly specialty one. Okay, you're kicking the thing. Go. Daddy needs to get you ready, and I need you to close the door, please. Okay, so I have those sunflowers. Teddy bear sunflowers give you the heebie-jeebies. Well, you're not going to like what I'm growing this summer because I have so many frilly double sunflowers. I have a whole collection of them. So unless it's like the name, but if it's like the super frilly, we have a bunch of it. Okay, so dried flowers. Dried flowers is like super good for me. And okay, so on Instagram, I love Instagram. I don't know if you guys know this. That's probably the best way to contact me specifically because I'm usually the one doing the Instagram messages, whereas Ian quite often is responsible for the Facebook messages. But so on you guys go get out of here, please. On Instagram, I follow a flower farmer in Ontario, and her flower farm and like her Instagram handle is Dahlia May, Dahlia May Flower Farm, Dahlia May Farm, I don't know, but if you put in Dahlia May, she'll pop up, because she's, you know, she's has a lot of people following her, and oh man, like, you know, her, like, she's amazing. She's the best ever. You know, I fangirl over her because her farm is beautiful, and she's also like, she's like just talks about super cool, very authentic things. So she's super fun to follow as someone who grows because she talks about like the experience of growing and the struggles of growing, and she is, you know, she's like doing it. She's got like a real profitable farm. She is not a content farm. So, you know, those are the people I always look up to and follow. But she had all these amazing straw flowers that she'd been gushing over all summer. And she, you know, she'd been doing just like straw flower bunches too for like from time to time. And she, you know what? You guys can get out of here, please. Thank you. No, you know what, Sam? You're going to be in trouble. Daddy's calling you guys. You need to go. Yeah, so you guys should go check her out if you want to know how to actually grow flowers. Because I don't. But, so she suckered me in. So, this is my straw flowers. You know, I had fun with the dried flowers. We had like an experiment of straw flowers. I had like, you know, 10 plants or something. And I really enjoyed using the flowers in the bouquets, but also I enjoyed using the flowers dried. So I want to do more. I want to do a bunch more. But so I bought some of the mix color, right? And like they're pretty. You know, and I do want some of those brights, like the reds and the oranges and the yellows. But what like really is going to work for me in bouquets, and what I think is going to be like, you know, more the color palette, you know, people like that kind of softer, more romantic color palette. So I bought a bunch of the white. I mean, this pack, like, I don't know if you can see, like, for context, how thick it is. This is 25 grams. This is like a million. And I'm going to try to direct seed these. They're not supposed to do great direct seeded. I think that you're supposed to start these ahead of time, but that's a lot of work. So I'm hoping that maybe I can direct seed them. I don't know why I bought this many. You know, like looking at this, it says that there's like 35,000 seeds in here. That's too many. I'm not going to grow 35,000 white straw flowers. And then I got the apricot color, just so pretty. So I'm really excited about these. I think the white and the apricot is going to blend in nicely to the bouquets that I do, you know, as like a filler flower. And then that bright one, you know, I might only grow that for drying. You know, I might not even use it. Okay, then cosmos. So I hate cosmos. I complain about them all the time, but I'm going to grow them every year. Because they're early and they're prolific, even though they're a pain in the butt to pick. But so I do the white, this snow puff. This is the white double click. It's just the white only. So I grow this because I find the white is like so versatile. They're so pretty and romantic. And then I get the mix. I get the double click mix, which has like a really nice berry, and it like has a pink, and it usually has like some variegated and then some white. So I put in some of this, and I put in some of the white, and then this year I'm gonna do this because I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was like I planted some other seeds, or if it was like just in the mix, but I had some singles and I liked using them. I grow the doubles. I make this joke, which is only half a joke, of I grow the doubles because you can smash them against the wall and then they still look good, because they I don't want flowers that can't handle rough handling. And so I find the singles on the Cosmos, they're sensitive to rough handling, whereas the doubles, they're very robust. They can hold their own. But I liked having the doubles. It was fun to use them. Quite often I use them for me only. Like I use them in the bouquets I made for myself. But the color on this, the package is like not showing the color. Here, I'll compare this because maybe, yeah, this, no point even holding it up. This is like a crazy, crazy color. It's called a Rubenza. It's this deep, rich, very, very pretty. And then it has this like really striking yellow center. So I think this is going to be really fun to work with. So I'm excited to give this a try. I'm going to have to be more careful. I'm going to have to be more careful with this. But I like it. Yeah, orange and yellow cosmos. I've grown those. They're a different family. Like when you look at these are a C. bip innatus. I can't speak Latin, but they're a different like family than these like more frilly crazy ones. But they were super early because I grew them in my first year. They were super early, super prolific, and the foliage it was more leafy and less this like thin fern type foliage that you get on those cosmos. But yeah, like they were fun, but they were almost too early. I feel like the orange and the yellow, and this is the issue that I have with the calendula. If all I have is orange and white, then in spring no one wants orange and white weird Halloween bouquets. The orange is more popular going into the fall. White's easy. You can do an all white bouquet and it's timeless. It's good any time of year. But yeah, the orange and yellow, I like them, but they were hard to sell. When there's dandelions everywhere, people are less into yellow yellow bouquets unless you're blending it in with like a whole range. Unless you're like, oh, and I have red and I have orange and I have pink, and then it's more of a rainbow look. Am I growing eucalyptus? Yes, I am. I haven't killed it yet. I have like 200 of them, but we'll see. There's still lots of time for me to kill them, but they're growing pretty strong so far. I don't want 200, so if I don't end up killing them all, I'll probably sell a few for the seedling sale. But okay, we gotta get through this. This is the last thing. Oh, and look, saved the best for last, guys, because this is all my amaranth, and I have so much. I have so much amaranth. So I bought the 25-gram packs. Oh, this is millet. Okay, let's talk about this first, so then we can save amaranth for last. So this is a millet. I don't know if the picture is showing up. Lime millet. This I like. I think this is super cool looking. I love the looks of the millets. And then anything chartreusey. It's like my ultimate favorite. And I'm looking for I want a green amaranth. I bought this. I bought the drapey green amaranth, but I want like an upright green amaranth. The only one I could find I didn't like it. So this is I need something green. So I'm excited about this. It might dry too. Easy to grow grass for cut flower filler and bird attractant. So I got 10,000 of those. And I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that. I think I have another grass that I bought from Johnny's, like another kind of, pretty grass head. And we have a bunch. We have like 120 grasses, perennial grasses, like different miscanthuses and stuff. I'm as excited as I am about the seeds in this box. What I'm really excited about is all the perennials that I have coming. Which, when I go to order my bulbs, I'll probably be like, hey, when are my perennials going to be here? And I have gladiolus in there. Glads don't really sell very well here. People are like, glads, garbage flowers. But Nicole from Flower Hill Farm, she was suckering me in with the glads, the way she talked about them. People, I don't know. I don't know what it is, if they're just too common here. But they're tough sell. But so I bought some really funky ones. I think I have 500 coming of really different, not like garden variety ones. So we'll see. I'll give them an experiment. They're not perennial here, so you have to if you want to keep them, you have to dig them up and store them somewhere. And I don't know that I'm willing to do that. That's a lot of work. But yeah, do an experiment. Ian was all like, content farm, buy everything. He suckered me in. So I bought everything. But I have some really cool perennials that I'm excited about. Okay, let's do the amaranth. So I bought red tails and I bought green tails. So the reason why I bought these is I had so much fun with the coral fountain. William Dam Seeds didn't have coral fountain, but I bought a big pack of coral fountain from Johnny's. So I'm going to have green drapey ones, pink drapey ones, and then red drapey ones. So I'll have the whole family. But yeah, I really like these. And I like the look of them just on their own, and my plan for the amaranth. So these packs, what? Oh, you got an owie? Okay, but I'm almost done, and then I'll come. So these packs, this one has 35,000 seeds, and this one has 42,000 seeds. I'm gonna grow an insane amount of amaranth this year. I'm gonna grow 4 beds of amaranth. I'm gonna be 50 feet of this, and I'm gonna take my seeder. I'm gonna direct seed it. I'll start a few ahead of time, to be able to have earlier. But mostly I'm gonna pop this into my seeder, and I'm gonna direct seed it a crazy amount. And I'm gonna do it really dense so they have thin stems. But yeah, I'm gonna so much amaranth, because my plan is that I will mix it in with the bouquets. I'll have it for the bouquets. I'll sell it on its own. I feel in the way that people want a bunch of sunflowers, I think that I'll be able to sell bunches of amaranth. And then it dries so good, I'm going to dry it, and then I'll have bunches of just amaranth dried to sell all winter. I may be wrong, the amaranth may be like bok choy, where I'm absolutely obsessed with it. But I'm convinced that my amount of obsession can carry on to other people. I think that this might be my favorite amaranth of all. This is Hot Biscuit. And this is one of those things that lots of people are like, that is the ugliest plant I've ever seen. Because it's this it's brown. It's straight up, it's a beigey brown. But I love it. I think it's amazing. Yeah, so this, I can't say enough things about how much I love the color on this. I mix it in with the brights, and it just, I think it looks super sophisticated. Or I can even, you do this, just, I love the brown. It's so unique. There's not very many things that have that coloring in the flowers. And I don't, people tell me all the time my bouquets are very unique. Everyone's like, Serena, you make such unique bouquets. And I don't know if people are saying politely saying they don't like my bouquets, or if like they are saying like, oh, your bouquets don't look like other people's. But I feel like, you know, it's probably this fault, Hot Biscuit's fault. But I like it, you know, and I like the look of my bouquets. I do agree. I don't think they look like other people's bouquets. And I think that probably a lot of the reasons why it doesn't look like other people's bouquets is I know absolutely nothing about flowers. I have absolutely zero training on how to put a bouquet together, other than the fact that I've watched a couple like YouTube videos on like, you know, how to like hold them in your hand, to throw them together, you know, and I read like a blog post by Florette who said, oh, you should have like, you know, greenery, small flowers, big flowers, and things that are airy. You know, I basically like took that and ran with it. And I was like, oh, you know what's airy? Amaranth. You know what's like a big focal flower? Amaranth. You know what is like can be green? Amaranth. But yeah, I feel like I'm confident that the flowers that I make, even if they like don't look like what other flowers, like I'm doing it intentionally at this point. You know, after like, you know, spending, I don't know how many hours I've now spent putting bouquets together. You know, I'm not making them look the way they look by accident. You know, I'm doing it on purpose. And I like it. Like I'm like, no, this looks good. You know, there's some things that I don't like. Like I do this like bouquet where it's 3 liatris and then I put a ring of zinnias around it. And that's it. That's all it is. And I'm like, yeah, this is weird, but I keep doing it because people like they sell like crazy. It's like, you know, people those like it draws people in, and I'm like, okay, like I don't know, like people want it, so I make it. But I look at that and I'm like, that looks weird. I'm like, this is like some weird, you know, like candlestick type shape thing. Um, but yeah, like I'm definitely like I feel confident about the bouquets that I put together. And I think I'm gonna like take the fact that they look weird and I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna be a lot more confident about it being okay that they look weird. Um, you know, I use a lot of like yeah, like the garlic, exactly. Like I'm like the garlic looks good. Anyone who tells me at this point that the garlic doesn't look good, I'm like that's just like your opinion, man. You know, like it looks like I'm doing it because it looks good. You know, and I got like a ton of like creative ideas about like, you know, the thing of using the green tomatoes in the bouquets, like the stem with the tomatoes draping off of it. I originally saw that on Florette. That's where, you know, I got the idea for the first time. You know, she's done stuff where she's used like strawberries. She's like picked like a stem with like strawberries like on it. And I'm like, oh, that's like amazing. You know, like that looks great. You know, and it is a thing to use like flowering branches or like branches that have like fruit on it. You know, and so like I've seen some of these ideas and now I'm like, there are no rules. I'm breaking all the rules. You know, and I'm going and I think going into future years, I'm going to use a lot more things that are not flowers. I'm going to use a lot more things that are like, you know, kale. I'm going to like put greens. I'm going to put like food into my bouquets more and more. You know, I had so much fun using so many things that were just, you know, kind of waste in the food farm. And you know, and I was like, and I felt reluctant to do it. I was like, like I like the look of this, but like, can I do this? You know, like by the fall, you know, when I was like feeling like more confident about what I was using, I had a patch of lettuce that went to seed, and I was using like the flower blossoms. It was before the flowers opened up because I knew they'd look messy because I know what I know what lettuce flowers look like, and they don't look great. But I was using these like stems with the buds on them, and I was like, this is the money, this is like amazing, whereas like before I would have been like, this is like garbage, like I'm not allowed to use this, I'm not allowed to charge people money for this garbage. Yeah, radishes, I use like tons of radishes. I love the seed pods. But yeah, so I'm going for it, like no rules. I'm the new thing is gonna be like, I use all the stuff that I think looks cool. I'm going to, yeah, it doesn't have to be ornamental kale. I'm gonna use non-ornamental kale, as well as those kales, the ornamental kales that I have. I'm gonna really give myself permission to kind of do whatever I want, and then we'll see. Obviously, if people are like, I'm not going to buy that garbage, then no luck for me. Then I'll have to go back to not doing that. But, Ian, like, there was lots of stuff that Ian didn't like. Like, Ian hated when I put the tomatoes in. But he's, he was like, yeah, no one ever noticed the tomatoes. It was only after they bought the bouquet and they were like, holding it, that they're like, what? There's a tomato in here. I didn't even see this. And that's what I want the bouquets to do. I want someone to like take this bouquet home. I want them to be like, it's beautiful. Take it home. And then it's on their table. And then like on the second day that it's in their house, for them to be like, what? I didn't even like see this thing in there. And like for it to like, surprise them, like, for it to like look good overall, but then like when someone spends the time with it, that there's going to be these like little surprises. That's my dream. I'm definitely going to say, I don't necessarily have the artistic skill to actually make everything that I want to happen. But I definitely can put some weird stuff in there without being too worried. And there's like I'll have done enough. What am I saying? Enough experiments to know, like, I'm not going to put anything in there that's going to die. Like I'm going to make sure that everything has good phase life. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Maybe I'll be talking this time next year and I'll be like, the plan is I'm going to florist school because my weirdo bouquets didn't sell and I need to like learn the rules. And then you can be like, Serena, told you all along, we were just being polite when we said your bouquets were unique. We didn't want to encourage you to really embrace unique as your overarching theme for bouquets. All right, but last packet, more amaranth. So I love this. I love this one, right? This is like the Serena loves being a weirdo bouquet. But these ones, this is like classic. And these, like, this can look really formal. This one, so one of the reasons why I love this is it has the red flower, but it also has the really dark, really rich foliage. And I love all the amaranths for the flowers, but I also do, hold this one up too. And they're grown for the flower, but you can pick them at any time you want. And I do like them when the flower's only just beginning. And then using it for like the greenery. Usually my amaranth like starts to get like really ratty, like bugs get in it by the later time of the year. So the leaves don't really always look that nice, and so I strip the leaves off. And you need to have clear stem. $26, but yeah, but okay, but you guys, like, okay, so this is $26 Canadian. Which is like $1 American. Not actually. That's my joke though. But this has 32 to 37,000 seeds in it. Like these are all kind of, they're all kind of in the high 30,000 seeds. I mean, if you guys like, okay, so I've now showed you everything that's in that order, and I haven't taken anything out of there. So this order cost me $592 and a penny. So I spent a lot of money on seeds. You know, like I do not feel bad about like the money. You know, like this like here's the expensive one. This so what, $170, right? Like this bag of carrots is like $170. You know, it's but like the amount of money I can make on this is like crazy, right? Because so this is like 10 beds of carrots. When we pick carrots, when I harvest, I usually go and I do 50 bunches of carrots, and you know, they're about like 10 carrots to a bunch. And I can usually pick on a bed, a full 50-foot bed, you know, 5 or 6 times, right? So like you know, my carrot beds have like 2,000 to 3,000 carrots in it. This amount of seed would do 10 beds. So that means that every bed that I plant, I put $17 worth of carrot seed in. And, you know, if there's 2,000 carrots, or yeah, well, let's just say 200 bunches, we sell our bunches for, you know, $3 or 2 for $5. So we'll do it by the 5 because we always do it by the low number. So what was I saying? 200 bunches. So that would be 100 times 5. So like $500. I feel like I get a lot more money out of my carrot beds than that. But anyways, it like that, you know, on the low end of the numbers, you know, there I am. I'm getting $500 for $17 worth of seed, right? So, you know, it's a lot of money to like buy all at the same time. But you know, like the seed cost is so low, right? I definitely do not thin my carrots. I put 10,000 seeds in. They just don't all germinate. They don't all make it. You know, if like I use like a seeder. I use SEED, not CEDAR. And so it just drops seeds. And for the carrots, I use my Jang seeder. And I have a roller for carrots, and it drops a ton of carrots. And it doesn't quite drop as many as I want because I'm doing like smaller, not that big, but I'm doing like, you know, more like I want them densely planted because I want to keep the carrots small, for them to be a good snacking size. So I usually, how many rows? I think I have 6 rows of carrots per bed. And then I'll go back and I'll like double seed some of the rows. Maybe not so much on Mokum. On Mokum, I usually just do. But on my Scarlet Nance, my seed is a bit older, so I'm always worried about the germination. So I double seed with it. Yeah, you have to be rich to be a farmer, pretty much. This like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this year, when you add up all, like when you include like the perennials that I have coming, like the bulbs, you know, everything all together, like seeds, and I'll probably have spent $10,000 for 2021 on like, you know, total money spent. You know, a lot of that is the perennials. You know, another thing too is some of my seed numbers are really high. You know, like this order, like $600. You know, I mean, first of all, $600, but 170 of it. You know, take shipping and the seeds off, and it's like $400 on the flower farm. But yeah, like a lot of the stuff that I'm buying, some of my more expensive seed cost is for the seedling sale that we do. I have like 400 dinner plate dahlias coming for the seedling sale. And that's a lot of money. because they're about like $250 each wholesale, and then like taxes and shipping and all that. So that right there, that adds up pretty fast. But if they sell, if it does well, I make the money back, and the cost of the labor, so for my, like crunching the numbers, for the dahlias, I think that like every 1 gallon pot that I do up, the cost on it is about $6 when you include things like the potting soil, the tuber itself, and the pot. It costs about $6. And then I have to pay for the labor of doing it, right? Like it's gonna cost me something to put the work in, to put the time in, and then growing it out, and then I sell it, and then maybe there's $1 left over, and then I'm like, woohoo! I can buy 500 next year. But yeah, that's like, we talk about it over and over and over again about like year 5, like we're going for year 5, and that's because it's going to take a long time and a lot of money to build the business, to get all these things in place. Like every infrastructure job that we do is like a huge amount of money. And there's an infinite number of those to do. Eventually we'll get to the point that the infrastructure's built, and then we just have to pay to maintain the infrastructure. So we're buying this like big greenhouse this year. The frame, like that's probably going to be good for 20 years. And then we'll just every 5 years we'll have to upgrade the plastic. Fingers crossed. The wind doesn't come and rip it apart. And then that makes it a lot more affordable. What will we not do if we're not making it at year 5? Aim for year 6. Like we're on track, right? Like, so like we talk about like year 5, but the reality is like year 5 is just like, that's how long we think it's going to take to build the infrastructure. Oh no, it doesn't take 5 years to change the plastic. The plastic ages out. Like plastic tarp only lasts so long, whereas like metal frame lasts a lot longer. So like for greenhouses, you have to keep maintaining them. Like our current greenhouses are like pretty much unusable because the plastic is so old that like light doesn't come through. I know that didn't really make sense how I said it before. Yeah, like so like it's not necessarily that it's like we have to be at this certain place by year 5. Like the reality is like we are in a financial situation that we can afford to like build a business. And like I say this all the time, I don't necessarily think like if I wanted to like be rich and like make $1 million, I would not be starting a farm. I don't think that farms, when you consider like labor to profit, I don't think that a farm business is the smartest business to start. We're starting a farm because we like growing things. It's definitely like we're willing to take a hit on income, in order to have lifestyle advantages. But like what we're doing is like it's a lot of money. The investments that we're making into the farm, and we're in a financial situation where we can afford to do that. Ian's not working this winter, but the Ian working away pays for the bills. Like Ian normally goes away in the winters, and like does his job. He like works like a seasonal job, and he makes enough money in that time to pay for the bills. So there isn't the pressure for the farm to make money because we have another way to pay the bills. So what we're doing is we're investing, like we're currently investing and like ramping up the business to the point that, it will then pay back the investments and, pay a wage. But yeah, it's never going to be like a very high paying job. It's always going to be, like a, blue collar job. But yeah, it takes money, and that's like the one thing. I don't know that it always, because we talk about like buying all this stuff. And we don't feel stressed out about buying this stuff because we can afford to. We have the money. We came to the farm. We don't have a mortgage here, so it's not like it's this huge amount of money that we have to pay every month. And then, it's like, oh, the money, it's disappearing. And, so we came, we had the money to invest into the business. And then rather than making all the investments at once, we're slowly investing into the business. So that we can make sure that we're investing in the right ways. And that's why it's year 5, right? So like our goal in year 1 was to make $10,000, because that is the number that you need here on our property to get farm status. And then once we had farm status, our taxes became a little bit lower, and then it opened up options for like selling. Without farm status, we can't have a farm stand, right? So we wanted to have farm status so that we were zoned for selling on the farm, and then it made a lot of other stuff easier. So like year 1, we were like $10,000. We got to do this. We got to get some farm beds established. We got to like learn how to grow things. We got to start to make sure we're understanding how to do succession planting. We have to have a marketing plan. I have a video that I need to work on tonight, which will like probably not be out tomorrow. It'll probably be out for Tuesday. In it, we talk about like, can you grow it or can you sell it? Which is like, it's part of our business series. But in it, we talk a bit about like how we came up with our crop plan, and it comes out of like the sales plan, right? So year 1, the idea was we need to like get the business started. We needed to like get a footing to like build on, right? Like you put down the foundation, just like, and we experimented with a handful of things. We went in with a theory. Kind of like, so this year, like with the amaranth, I'm going in with a theory. My theory on amaranth is that if I grow a ton of amaranth, I can sell a ton of amaranth, even though I don't see other people selling amaranth. I think that people want straight bunches of amaranth, and I see how popular pampas grass is as a dried flower, and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, well, I can't grow pampas grass because we're not warm enough here. It dies over the winters. I'm like, but the things that people like about pampas grass, I think amaranth can do. It can be this big, showy, impressive thing. The aesthetic structure of the pampas grass, the amaranth will do. I think that this will sell. I think this is going to do good. I think this could be trendy, right? So this is my theory. I'm going in. I spent $50-$60 on amaranth seed. I'm going to devote a bunch of space to the amaranth, and then I'm going to try to sell it, and we'll see. And then if I sell 0 amaranth and everyone hates it, and they're like, Serena, this is a weed. What are you talking about? You're crazy. Stop growing amaranth. Like, we watched your video. We've heard you obsess about it. You shouldn't obsess about it. Amaranth is garbage. Then I have to pivot, right? I either have to be like, okay, I can't be an amaranth farm, or I have to like, be like, what was it that people didn't like about the amaranth? Like, I got to change it, right? So like, that's kind of what we did for year 1. We had a theory, we went for it. And a lot of what our theory was correct, right? Like, I did a ton of market research. I didn't just grow like randomly. Like, I did a bunch of research. I could say the why. I had the answer to the why I thought my farm plan would work. I had the whole thesis, business plan. I was like, this is the plan. This is why it's going to work. We went in, we did it. Last year was year 2, and we tweaked what didn't work, and then we tried to improve on what did work. And here we are. We're going into year 3. We can recognize the stuff that like didn't work, the stuff that was like a failure, and we can be like, okay, we're not doing that again. And then we can see the stuff that like did work but could be better, all this stuff, right? So that is like what the year 5 thing is about, right? Like year 1, we tried to sell $10,000. Last year the goal was $30,000. This year the goal is $60,000. And because we're like we're kind of ramping up slow, rather than going and being like, we have $100,000, let's spend it all on the first year. We can be like, okay, what's the important thing? What do we need? We need irrigation, right? Like we're like, oh, we're wasting so much time on irrigation. We need irrigation. Let's invest into irrigation. We're like, we need a walk-in cooler. We need it, like, to have a walk-in cooler is going to make all these efficiencies. Originally, the plan on year 1 for where the walk-in cooler was going to go was going to go in our garage, and we were going to like have it, access from in the garage, like we had this whole other plan. And then as we worked in that garage without the walk-in cooler in there, we realized that like we couldn't actually build in there. Like, if we would have built in there, we probably would have been like frustrated and upset with ourselves and like needing to put it somewhere else in the future. So we're trying to balance not limiting ourselves by investing, but also investing slowly enough that we're making smart investments. From day 1 we've been talking about having a farm stand. Our original plan was the farm stand was going to be like a self-serve shed type structure. It was going to be like 4x8, just like a very, very primitive thing out on the fence, kind of where we sell when we do those like Sunday sales. But then after spending time sitting out there, we realized if we would have built a farm stand in that spot, it gets so hot, we would have never been able to sell anything, because the main selling hours are kind of this like 2 to 5 period, when everyone's like driving home after work. And from 2 to 5, it is like 150 degrees Fahrenheit out there. Any food that we put out there would just melt. If anyone did pull over, they'd pull over and it would be like a compost pile, and they'd be gross, never stopping here again. But so we would have built that farm stand, and we would have been like, struggling to try to figure out how to make it work, because we would have built it before we knew that was like the hottest spot on the planet. So it hasn't worked perfectly using the carport as the farm stand, because people don't know it's there, right? Like, but at least the stuff like survives. So now we're like, how do we get people to come to that farm stand, right? Like, we still want, the plan all along is people coming to the property. We have to keep working and massaging and improving the business, and I think that a lot of it is, it's like picking what is the best varieties to grow in your garden, right? You got to experiment a little bit. But when I pick the flowers that I want to experiment with on the flower farm, like my first ones that I want to experiment with is anything that's drought tolerant, anything that needs full sun. I want to try the easiest things first, because the easiest things are the things that seem like they'd be the most successful, right? Like, there's no point if, with my sand pit, full sun, super hot summers, there'd be no point of me being like, well, I love hostas, you know, and then planting a bed of hostas out in the sun and the heat, and then them just being like, oh, we're so sad, and I'd be like, what am I doing? You know, like I'm just shooting myself in the foot by trying to do something hard as the first thing that I do. So that, like, I don't know how much that makes sense, right? Because I know so much, we are always like the 5-year plan, you know, and that, like, there is no, it's not like written down, it's not like an actual 5-year plan. It's like the concept of building towards profitability, right? And so I would say if we were sitting here now and like we still hadn't been able to get farm status, right? Like we'd have to be like, is this working, right? We'd have to be like, can we do this? You know, there's lots of business ideas that I played with, I feel like, for things that we could have done on the farm. There's lots of things that I feel like I was interested in that if I would have done it, wouldn't have ever worked, right? There's lots of ways that I could build a business that would never be able to be profitable. So you do need to be very focused on those numbers, and if some numbers, they just can't work, right? You can't make 2 and 2 be 5, right? It's if it doesn't add up, it doesn't add up. So you know, it can be, you know, it can be hard to be able to be in the thick of it, and still be out of it enough to make those, you know, those hard practical decisions, you know. And I don't think that Ian and I are definitely 100% there. You know, we're online all the time, always like looking for people who we think are like doing it properly, to be like, you know, in what ways when we compare ourselves to what they're doing, are we doing it wrong, right? And there's tons of things that we're doing wrong, and there's tons of things that we're doing that makes no sense. You know, and that's all learning. That's like all a learning curve of finding the ways that you know, that we can make it work better, right? And to know when to abandon something. Okay, Ian's yelling at me. He's giving me a hard time, and fair enough. This is like ridiculously long, and I don't think the kids are in bed yet. But so thank you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out. We made it through. I have one seed order left, coming, and I don't know when. And we also have the perennial order, but I don't think that's coming until next month, but soon. That's the one I'm going to be really excited about. But I will chat with you guys again next week, and thank you so much for hanging out. I'm always amazed at how many of you guys come. So see you guys next time.